yourself, try and you succeed. Never doubt that you're the one, and you can have your dream. You're the best around.
That's a good choice. Good
Thank you.
choice. Wasn't one of your options.
Nope.
And I'm pleasantly surprised. I had to admit, you want an opening intro that you feel more up than you did than when it started. And it's 8 a.m. Central Time. Just waking up recently, of course. And I'm ready to go. It's November. It's week 9. JT's topped the leaderboard in Warrior Bowl. I was gonna say sniffing his.
You're right behind me.
Not
You're
right
7-1.
say
You're
it.
like a
Yeah.
couple points behind me. You're like 9.
I know.
You're right in the
I
mix.
keep watching.
I'm so mad. My undefeated season got ruined
I saw
last week
that.
because Dak scored 4 freaking points.
Yeah.
And then I was gonna play Troy Franklin, and then I didn't. I was thinking about it. I played him in a bunch of leagues. I didn't play him in that league. I played Dalton Schultz instead, kicking myself. I lost by like 5 points, and I would have won by like 15 if I would have played Franklin instead.
Yep. I was watching that, seeing if you were going to continue the undefeated streak, as Never Really Use says, the original Karate Kid movie, great song. It is. Moggs is here with us in the chat. And then Jorge, good morning. First and foremost, don't want to leave you out, but I'll tell you what, JT and I got to revel in our Warrior Bowl success. Why don't you help lead Tootsie Pop success and tell her why you're choosing Jackson Dart or Jared Goff?
Yeah, sure. So, contrary to the Thursday night football butt whooping that the Chargers put on the Vikings, they are actually statistically on the season pretty good at the quarterback position, allowing the 12th fewest points to the quarterback position. We look at the situation for the 49ers. They have no pass rush to speak of. They trade for pass rushers. They're hoping that they pay off. Keon White was traded last week for that 6-7 pick swap. Yeah, that's going to happen a lot today, so just get ready for it. And he needs time to acclimate to the position there. Michael Williams hasn't done anything as of yet, but that to me spells like a lot of inexperience on that defensive line, which is why I'm rolling with Jackson Dart being able to avoid pressures this week from the 49ers.
Are either one of you guys not worried, but concerned with Jackson Dart's upside by the lack of rushing over the last couple weeks? Do you think that's just game situation that he'll revert back to kind of the first couple weeks we saw where we're over the moon with Dart because of the rushing upside? Is that even something to be concerned with?
I'm not concerned. I think the matchups are just difficult. We look at Philadelphia. Obviously their defense is pretty good. I'm not concerned at all. The fact that there is lack of pressure is going to be applied by these guys, by the 49ers and defensive ends. I'm not concerned at all. I think you're going to see them actually kind of take more of the rushing role back in this offense.
Gotcha. Well, JT, I have a question for you. Well, I don't have a question for you. Epic Fail has a question for you, because I was going to say I don't need IDP help. That is a lie. I just keep it behind the screen so that I'm not a simpleton. That I suck at IDP this year is what I'm alluding to, essentially. If you guys are trying to figure out how I was so eloquently saying,
how are you going to work that into a conversation?
Yeah, how am I going to say that? So I'm going to let JT answer this for you, Epic Fail. Needs IDP help. Who would you drop in redraft? Chase Young, Josh Sweat, Carl Granderson.
Chase Young's been on a tear lately, so you want Chase Young. You got to keep him. He's been tearing up. Granderson, I think I like the best of the three. The problem is he's not been performing lately. Sweat is probably my drop here just because Chase Young's playing out of his mind right now. Granderson's a little down, but I think he bounces back. Sweat, to me, you're just always taking a chance playing him week to week. For me in redraft, I'm dropping Sweat.
See, I kind of see it a little bit backwards. So for me, for Sweat, one of the things I've liked over the past few weeks has been his tackle numbers. So he's definitely had that elevated floor. His PFF ranking over the past 3 weeks has been him having it as the third ranked run defender, which again, you think defensive lineman, you're like, well, I don't care about run defense. I don't care about tackles. I want the sacks. So you can't bank on sacks every week, just like you just can't bank on touchdowns every week. But having that tackle for, a la and Alex Wright for Cleveland, who's starting to come up and be a solid defensive line option. Sweat has been showing that the tackle numbers have been there, and as much as Montez Sweat. Yeah.
I said Josh Sweat from the get-go. Mostly.
I'm talking. I thought he meant Montez Sweat. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So it's actually funny. I would keep Sweat. I would drop Granderson, and I would, what was it? Yeah. No. Yeah. I would drop Granderson, keep Young and Sweat.
Sorry about that. My mistake. I immediately go to Josh Sweat because of the years of trying to build up Josh Sweat's value in my own head, as well as somebody else. I really thought short end of the stick as far as how he was always been utilized. Albert's in the chat. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to you too, my friend. It's Brandon wants to know. He has a tight end question. And I get the feeling we're going to see Rondé Gadsden. Some of these names are tight end a lot because they're all kind of clumped together. We have Jake Ferguson or Rondé Gadsden. And I'm going to just start with my only concern with the Rondé Gadsden. Normally that would be the easy pick. I think that based off of what he's done as of late, but I kind of clump, and we'll talk about the Chargers in a little bit, that their receiving room, including tight ends, reminds me a lot of like Green Bay, in that each week you're going to have to try to figure out there's enough volume to support two. Is there enough volume to support 3 to 4 guys? And Rondé Gadsden, from a matchup standpoint, Tennessee's has been extremely successful against the tight end. The Cowboys against the Cardinals much more favorable in that scenario. And I get the feeling that Arizona, despite the fact it's not going to be Kyler Murray, I think it's going to be a high scoring game. And I think there's going to be plenty of opportunity for Jake Ferguson. But do either of you guys adamantly choose Rondé Gadsden?
Not this week. I'm bored. Team Ferguson this week versus Arizona. Excuse me. Versus Arizona. We look at the situation for Gadsden and the Titan versus the Titans. Titans are like top 5, top 6 in fewest fantasy points allowed to the tight end position. So that's everybody's trying to like find good things to say about what's going on in Tennessee, and it's like, well, their defense actually hasn't been on the season. I mean, they've obviously not good enough to win games, but you look at how they're shutting down certain opponents. Like, they are definitely making you want to fade expectations here.
Well, JT, you may agree with this also, not having Jeffrey Simmons this week. If I'm the Chargers, I'm going to probably run at him a lot more than I'm going to attack the tight end position.
Yeah, I think they're going to run. I said earlier in the week, I think Kimmy Vidal is like a must start as your RB2 or a flex this week with what was going in Tennessee. I think they're going to be up. I have to say, I got to stand for my guy, Rondé Gadsden, though. I love him. He's one of my favorite players. I loved him coming out of Syracuse. I absolutely thought he was going to be a steal. When he went in the 5th round, I thought it was way too late. But I was like, hey, I think he's still good. It just depends on landing spot. And then when he went to the Chargers, I was fist pumping. I thought it was one of the best landing spots he could have absolutely been in, just because of what their tight end room looked like, and being but being lucky enough to be with Herbert. I was like, this might work out beautifully. And so far we're seeing it's working out great. I'm playing Gadsden everywhere because I'm playing the hot hand. He's been great. Herbert likes him. You've seen in the games and a half, he goes to him. So now Quentin Johnson coming back hurts his value, I think, a little bit for sure. I think these are both great plays. So if you're in a tight end premium league, I might play one of these guys over like a third wideout, depending on how your lineup is. I would really consider playing both of these if I can, depending on your league setup.
Yeah, and that's always something. Again, context is everything. Assuming non-tight end premium, you do, Brandon. You have 2 fantastic choices. Choose your destination or choose your destiny type thing, because we can only lead you to water. Can't force you to drink, as they say. Jonathan, go ahead.
I was going to say, just to wrap up or maybe open back up and then rewrap. Before the Simmons injury, the Titans were already susceptible to 3rd most fantasy points to the running back position. Now you take away that clog up the middle. That's Kamani Vidal is going to have good game. that's the announcement.
Yeah,
He's gonna have a good game.
It's this is a little foreshadowing to if we get to the part of the show where we can actually discuss each game and kind of looking forward. And I'm very intrigued. I wonder just the impact for people that are holding on to Amari and Hampton, if in a non-dynasty type league, or maybe even in dynasty, what the value means for him going forward. But we will go forward with Jonathan Santiago's question as far as a quarterback stream for this week. Is that next week? Oh,
next week.
Look, I love it. I love it. See,
nice.
That is a trick that I think the seasoned people like you two and many others that listen is you can't always just think for this week. If you can be a week ahead of everything. So I like this. All right. So next week, Jared Goff against your Commanders, Jorge, or Sam Darnold against the Arizona Cardinals. Or I'll let you start, and then JT, give me your opinion.
Yeah, quarterbacks have been having a lot of success on the short to intermediate passing game versus the Commanders. I mean, look what the Chiefs did, to the Commanders, who just carving them up with the short to intermediate, got a lot of yards after the catch by these guys. Rashee Rice should have fallen into the end zone 3 times total, and he just fell like literally 1 yard short twice. So give me Goff versus Washington.
JT?
I probably lean slightly Goff. I think those are both really good matchups. I've got Darnold in a ton of spots. He's been pretty solid this year. I think you can't go wrong either one, but I probably slightly, because of exactly what Jorge just said, I probably lean a little more Goff, just because I think Amon-Ra St. Brown should just eat, and I think he's just going to go to him all over the place.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you. And the only thing about Darnold that ever scares me is its efficiency over volume for him. And if the efficiency ever just drops off for one given week, if the way the chips fall, instead of the touchdown percentage, it ends up at the 1 and they run the ball in. You go from Darnold being, I think, from a fantasy point per attempt standpoint, Darnold's been fantastic. It's just the lack of attempts. I guess I would maybe lean Goff, just like you guys have said. He has a follow-up. Oh,
I was going to say, like, one of the things about Seattle also is that their secondary has been banged up a lot over the course of the season, and they're just now coming off the bye, getting some pieces back. Julian Love, unfortunately, going on IR. So, assuming that back end can hold up, will the need for Goff need to be there for him to air it out as much as he has been? Because the defense is clamping down on opposing teams' offenses.
You mean for?
I was going to say, to go with you, Nate, on the Darnold thing. I think we've learned with Darnold, the less he throws, the better for your team. Like, not that he can't throw, but it's like whenever he throws a lot of volume, they're in trouble. It usually ends up being a huge problem. So I think Seattle's learned, like, hey, if we can just let him be efficient and really manage, he scores you points, but he's rarely going to have a monster breakout game. Goff can have a monster breakout game just because the players around him. So that's why I would say I'm leaning Goff, just because if you get Darnold throwing 40, 45 times in a game, that's a big problem for Seattle, and it's probably not going to end up well for them or you on fantasy purposes. So, like I said, like you said, the efficiency of Darnold's been fantastic, but the upside is not there because they don't want him throwing more than 30 times in a game max, I don't think.
Which he's only done 3 of 7 times so far on the season. So you're exactly right. And honestly, it's kind of a scary proposition, is that if the reports that they're shopping Tariq Woolen and some of these other players, which if they do, goes along with what Jorge's saying, is if lack of pieces maybe means more passing, I still think they know how to get the most out of Sam Darnold. When you're talking about trades, you want to get the most out of an opportunity. So would you trade Tyrone Tracy for Jordan Addison and Alvin Kamara? Timing is, I get the concern that the manager for Alvin Kamara has, the usage. You wonder if he's banged up this week. I'm still Kamara myself. I think the change of scenery, I think that no matter if you have a nagging injury and you're stuck in, purgatory, Purgatory. Good Lord. No, you're stuck in a pergola, Jorge, outside in the small little wooden thing. It's at least pergola's big. Purgatory's big. Pergola's tiny, and there's no slats up top, so the rain's hitting you. You don't get it.
I've never heard that expression ever. I am learning something.
I've never either. That's why I'm laughing hard. I honestly
no
in
such
this
thing
one,
as that expression.
if you can actually
made that up.
get,
okay.
If you can get, all right. Tracy, honestly, for me, I would take Addison or Kamara over Tracy personally. If you can get both of them, I'm like that. To me, that's a smash that. Trade that. If somebody will give you Addison and Kamara for Tracy, I am selling that big time. The thing is, I think people are like looking at Tracy going like, look at what Scatabo was doing. Tracy's going to do the same thing. I don't think so. I don't like Tracy at all compared to Scatabo. Like when he got drafted there, that was my favorite part. I was like, oh, he's way better player than Tracy is. So if you could sell the Tracy hype before the game comes and see how he plays today, I would sell Tracy if I can. I absolutely would.
Right there. Now, real quick, let me just jump to Brendan's follow-up in regards to his previous question, because it touches on something JT said is, would you flex Gadsden? Probably not tight end premium, I'm guessing, by not mentioning that, but over someone like Khalil Shakir or Ted McMillan this week, I wouldn't do that myself. But I know that you're offended. Would you start? So JT, you're on Team Gadsden. Would you start Ferguson over either one of those two?
In a non-tight end premium, probably not. If you're getting like even a 1.5 tight end premium, I'm probably over both those guys, to be honest with you. If I'm getting 1.5, if it's no tight end premium, or if you're in a non-PPR league, a little bit tougher for me there. The only thing about Ferguson is I like the touchdown upside over McMillan or Shakur in a non-PPR league. I like the touchdown upside for Ferguson. So again, kind of depends a little bit on scoring. That's why I like to bring up a few things if I don't know. I would consider it any kind of tight end premium. I'm starting both Gadsden and Ferguson. I'm probably leaning one of those wideouts. Which one I'm leaning towards? I probably would play McMillan, but that's just me. I like Ted, and I think they're going to have to throw. So I think he has a chance to get some garbage points.
Yeah, McMillan I love Shakir in the matchup against the Chiefs. 2 high safeties. Shakir should see plenty of targets, and the games can go back and forth. Jorge, any?
I would not play Gadsden over either of those options in non-tight end premium. But I'm with you what you just said about Shakir. I think that in PPR leagues, like those receptions and those targets are gonna add up quick tonight in that matchup.
Yeah, I have him. I need to actually check exactly where I have him, but while I do that, we'll answer Andrew's question.
Okay, thank you.
I got you. Yeah. Says, good morning, gentlemen. Gentlemen term loosely, of course. Lost Hill. Neighbors, McLaurin. See, I paused after Hill, hoping that was going to be it, and then it was going to start a new, hey, these were options. Nope, keeps going. The hits, unfortunately, have affected many, and this is rough. So Hill, Neighbors, McLaurin has to start 2 between Alec Pierce, Parker Washington, Christian Watson. I'm going to start by saying, number 1, for losing those 3, that's a phenomenal job of picking up pieces of guys that are just not an absolute. I mean, everything's a massive drop-off from Neighbors, McLaurin, and Hill. We all know that. But the situation that each one has put themselves in leads to some upside. Even there's some floor, I'll start with number 1, asking you guys' 2 opinions. JT, he's leaning Pierce and Washington, which I'll tell you, that's my 2 options as well. What do you think of these 3?
Yeah, I'm Pierce Washington as well. I like Alec Pierce. Now, whenever you play Alec Pierce, and I have Alec Pierce in way too many leagues, I'll just say that right off the bat. But he's got that big playability. You just need him to get 1 or 2 big catches, and he'll score for you. So I like Pierce there. You're not going to get volume, so you're hoping for a big play. Parker Washington, I'm going to get a lot of Diami Brown or Parker Washington this week for the Jags, and I'm like, oh, it's a toughie. I have a lot more Diami Brown, so I'm playing him. Just gonna have it, but I think Washington's gonna get mixed in. We've seen whenever somebody's missing in this passing game for the Jags, and Washington gets a chance to play, it seems like Lawrence finds him. So I'm probably leaning there, and this is probably past Hurts, but I just can't trust Christian Watson. I just can't trust him. It just gets me. I think the Jags are going to throw a lot. So I'm Pierce Washington for sure.
I am out. Yeah, Christian Watson was one of my kind of fades this week. Actually, almost all the Green Bay pass catchers scare me. Kind of like I was saying with the Chargers. I don't know who to trust. Watson got this huge volume last week in his first week back, as far as based on what I had expected. And Parker Washington and Alec Pierce both, I think we talked, or you just said earlier, I think you said the Pittsburgh and Indy game is the second highest implied point total on the week.
Third. The third in the main slate. So yeah.
I mean, there you go. That in itself says quite a bit, is shooting for the upside there. So good luck with that. Guys, epic fail needs a tight end streamer. Jorge, are you starting Evan Ingram, Theo Johnson, Juwan Johnson?
I am going to go with Juwan Johnson. The Rashid Shaheed, I believe, is trending towards being out this week. So we got some vacated targets that need to be addressed. If Shaheed is definitely out, then I would go Juwan Johnson in this matchup.
JT?
Usually I would say Juwan Johnson for sure, just because Ingram's going against Houston, who's been really good. I'm very iffy on playing any of my Denver wide receivers this week, to be honest with you. Shuck. I just don't know how much I trust him. But the only thing is, I'm like, he's got to throw to somebody, right? They're going to be losing in this game. They got to throw to somebody. You got to think that Juwan has the best floor. Theo Johnson, you're hoping he gets a touchdown because you know he's not going to get a ton of volume. He just doesn't. You're hoping a touchdown. So I think the safest play, if you're just like, please give me some points, and I'm guessing if you're streaming, that's what you're doing. Just give me something. Juwan Johnson, I think, is the safest play.
Yeah, the Tyler Shuck scenario is always
scares the absolute shit out of me, dude. It really does, man. I'm in all my Survivor leagues, and I'm like, I'm all over the Rams this week. I don't trust him at all against that defense. I'm like, I am all over the Rams.
I think they're 13.5 point favorites. So yeah, that seems like a recipe for success right there. Needs thanks for your question first and foremost, and keep listening, hopefully. So Will Hayes wants to know at running back, Bam Knight, David Montgomery. Let's start there. Jorge, Bam Knight, David Montgomery.
I would go with Knight. I like his receiving upside. The targets have been there. They just released, but then brought back Michael Carter to the practice squad, I think it was. So he should get plenty of volume, especially in the passing game, which should be, like you were alluding to earlier, should be an interesting game on Monday night with both of these offenses, especially with Jacoby Brissett being the quarterback now.
And then JT, Darius Slayton or Alec Pierce. It is full point PPR, so see if that has any impact on your decision.
Oh man, Darts look good, but he's like made plays running around. He hasn't thrown huge high volume, and if they're trying to like stay in close games. I'm probably going Pierce for the high upside play, hoping he gets one of those deep balls and hopefully maybe turns one into a touchdown. I'm probably playing Pierce, but that's because I'm a little more of a gambler. So I'm probably playing him just on the gamble. Slayton he's going to get a chance, but you can see it. The Giants do not want to throw the ball a ton. They are not trying to go back there and just gun it all around. So that's the only thing that worries me there. So I'm probably going Pierce, but I will say that's with me being a little bit of an Alec Pierce homer because I do like Alec Pierce just in general. So
we'll see how they like running the ball quite a bit. We'll see how they like running the ball quite a bit when it's not Cam Scatterbo and it's Tyrone Tracy, or is it Tyrone Tracy and Devin Singletary who's going to get the workload? One of the questions that we will have to answer as the show goes on. Charlene, good morning. She has a PPR related question. She needs a wide receiver and a flex. So of these 4, we got to choose 2. Cortland Sutton against the aforementioned Houston Texans. Horrible matchup, we know.
Mhm.
Trey Tucker, Kendrick Bourne, AJ Barner. Despite the matchup, considering the 4, I'm still leaning Cortland Sutton as my wide receiver, just based off of the options that I have presented to me. Now, you guys may disagree, and I would be interested to hear. So, JT, are you leaning away from Cortland Sutton altogether, or are you in agreement?
I just pulled him out of a league and put Josh Downs in for him. But with this group, non-tight end premium, I think it goes Sutton, Trey Tucker. If it was tight end premium, I would slightly lean Trey Tucker Barner to me.
Yeah.
Just I'm real worried about Sutton. The secondary's been
Should be.
fantastic for Houston. Barner has been sneaky good. So if it was a tight end premium, I would look at probably playing Barner if it was a decent tight end premium. No tight end premium, I think you just got to stick with your studs, and you got to go Sutton, and you got to go Trey Tucker. Trey Tucker's just been really good this year. I know it seems wild. I see him in my lineups. I'm like, am I really playing Trey Tucker? But every week he plays pretty solid, and the Jags secondary's been bad. You got to figure they're going to throw the ball around a little bit today, especially with Bowers back. Hopefully that opens things up for Tucker a little more.
Jorge, any difference in opinion?
No, those are exactly the 2. I would have liked to say Kendrick Bourne, but the targets have been going Jawan Jennings way too much that I can't do that.
Yeah, it has definitely been. And then Charlene has another PPR league.
Boo.
See how the trend is? She's in multiple PPR leagues. We haven't gotten a
Boo.
standard question yet. That is
No.
not any hate towards a standard league out there, but
just a bit.
she needs a running back and a flex. So let's start with the running back position between J.K. Dobbins, Alvin Kamara, Rico Dowdle, and Woody Marks. The trend in that 4 is something that I hate this week so much. J.K. Dobbins, knowing that the R.J. Harvey touchdowns last week, while I don't necessarily think it's as big, of course it stands. Alvin Kamara, banged up, has to deal with the rotation at running back that's been happening. Rico Dowdle, and obviously the Chuba Hubbard conversation, and then Woody Marks and somehow still Nick Chubb being involved. Is it Jorge? I'll let you start. Dobbins, Kamara, Dowdle, or Woody Marks?
Dowdle, hands down. The coaching staff came out this week and said that he's going to be the starter. The reports are that he's going to get a bulk of the workload. There were rumors that they're trying to shop Chuba Hubbard, but then denied that they were trying to shop Chuba Hubbard. So it's Dowdle for me. As far as the second part, as far as a flex option goes, I would go with Kayshon Boutte, who's been the number 1 wide receiver for the Patriots so far this year, or the past few weeks, rather.
That's true. JT, how about it running back for you? Are you leaning Dowdle, or are you pivoting towards Dobbins or Kamara?
I'm probably going Dowdle. I'm real nervous. Like I said already, on the Saints players, I'm nervous. Dowdle probably, because if Carolina's going to even remotely stay in this game, they have to pound the rock. They got to run the ball. So I think Dowdle volume-wise is your best bet, I think. I am a huge Woody Marks fan. I will say that. Mm-hmm. Not this week. I'm avoiding as many offensive players as I can between Houston and Denver this week. I think it's going to be a defensive game. I'm probably leaning Boutte, just like Jorge said. I want it to be Juwan Jennings, selfishly. But God, he's been so inconsistent this year. He's been so inconsistent. So I would probably go Boutte and Dowdle.
Yeah, and pure matchup based alone, I would still want Kamara as far as matchup goes, because Green Bay's been top 3, top 4 against the running back position. Denver, of course, is always Denver. Yet at the same time, we see Denver against. I go back to the Giants game, thinking that was just an absolute no chance it's going to happen, and Scatterboo and Jackson Dart both look amazing. I think it's more of a one-off. That is not helpful for you, Charlene, whatsoever. You know what? I can understand the Rico Dowdle. We're going to jump into some of those questions that we have about that scenario, because it's the verbiage used in Carolina is awful tricky, as they pointed out on certain different social media sites and different newscasts, where it's past tense for Chuba and future present tense for Dowdle. Context, of course, but
all right.
So Game Face Flacco or Herbert? Supposed to the weather game. This is the impact here. I think Joe Flacco, bad shoulder, still going to play. Justin Herbert, bad weather, obviously still going to play. You imagine if they cancel football games because of rain or snow? We'd be playing into July. It would be chaos. But this isn't chaos.
Nothing's worse than lightning. As long as you avoid the lightning, we're all gold. We're golden.
Absolutely.
Metallica would say differently, but they want you to ride the lightning. But that's not.
They do. That's Metallica reference number 1 for the day. We have 4 to hit the over under. Best of luck. So, all right, JT. What are you thinking?
I'm Herbert. You got to write Herbert here. I know. I understand the weather, and he says right after this, I'm worried that San Diego. Or he says San Diego. I know. I always call him San Diego. Still grew up. I lived in San Diego when the Chargers were there. I still call him San Diego Chargers. But I think the Chargers, even if they get up, you're worried that Herbert doesn't throw a ton. I still am taking Herbert. I think you got to write it and go with him. Titans are real bad. I'm playing Herbert. I'm playing him in all my leagues. I'm not sitting him. I'm not getting cute. You know what I'm saying? Just play Herbert. Just
yeah. I have to make that same decision with Herbert versus in like Kings Classic leagues, and I just don't want to get cute and ruin something. And I get it. Like you said, I'm also afraid if they get a big lead to just run the ball. I think they're going to run the ball regardless, before the lead, during the lead, after the lead. Doesn't mean that Justin Herbert can't outproduce what Joe Flacco on a bum shoulder, who you assume he's going to target, Jamar Chase. I think we've all seen that.
My thing is Tennessee does not have a good secondary, and they just traded their best secondary player. So, I think they're going to pound the rock, but I think it's going to open things up for Herbert to get some huge play action passes. I don't think he needs to throw the ball a ton in this game to put up yards and some touchdowns. So I guess that's where I'm leaning. I'm like, I don't think he needs 35 passes. I think he could throw the ball 22, 24 times and still have 250, 260 yards and maybe a couple touches.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. Jorge Moggs has a question specifically for you. He says, he's saying Big Mac Daddy. I thought he was calling you Mac Daddy.
Thank you.
Jorge is the Big Mac Daddy, so that is true.
So to read his question, he said Big Mac Daddy Jones, CJ Oldhead Stroud, or Cam Assman Ward. That last one, was that a reference to Billy Gunn being the Assman of WWF? I just wanted to ask him that.
Could also be a reference to Seinfeld.
Touche. Daniel Jones, CJ Stroud, Cam Ward. No. Patrick Surtain makes me very, very excited for CJ Stroud and Nico Collins this week. I think that's going to be a big connection that's going to be heavily exploited by the Texans. So I would go in this situation, CJ Stroud.
I sure hope so, because, man, it's that even I'm going to use a Star Wars reference with Admiral Akbar and say
it's a trap.
I hope not. I hope it's not a trap, because I want to start Nico. I'm starting Nico anyway, but I desperately want the 25 plus point game out of Nico that we really haven't seen this year at all. But so Charlene JT needs Scott Fishbowl help! Exclamation. Only one exclamation. So she's still doing well, I'm guessing. You have to pick 2 here: Evan Ingram, Darnell Mooney, Darius Slayton, De'Ami Brown, Alvin Kamara. No, Scott Fishbowl sucks for this reason, because you have so many.
This was a toughie. I admit, and I'll have to admit, I am struggling in Scott Fishbowl. I finally made my way back to 500. So I'm trying to get in the mix. I finally have been playing decent. Thank you to Rondé Gatson, by the way. He's been saving me the last couple weeks. So this one's a toughie. Man, I'm probably leaning Kamara here, which seems crazy because I just said no on Kamara on the other ones. But with the scoring in that one, I'm going Kamara, and I'm probably going Ingram, because the tight end premium in Scott Fishbowl is so high. If he has a decent game at all, he's going to outscore all those other guys. Mooney, you've not been able to count on him whatsoever. De'Ami Brown, I'm playing him in a few spots in real deep leagues where I need him, but I'm worried Parker Washington actually steals that a little bit, and I'm not 100% sold on Slayton here. I like Wan'Dale Robinson way more than Slayton. So I'm going probably Ingram and Kamara and Scott Fishbowl scoring.
Jorge,
Yep.
anybody else stand out? No.
Nope.
I'm in agreement with that same thing. Game Face has to choose 2 here. Cortland Sutton,
Yep.
Rico Dowdle, Kyle Monangai, Xavier Worthy. Jorge, I'll let you start here.
Man, if I'm going, over unders here with DeAndre Swift, out,
And Roshan.
and Roshan, like Monangai he's one. The second one, we're hoping for volume versus Green Bay for the Carolina Panthers and Rico Dowdle. But Green Bay has been pretty stout against the run. Again, you're hoping for a lot of volume and success. Man, given the bad matchup like we were talking about, and given these options, I'd still go Monangai or Sutton and then Monangai.
Yeah, the only pivot is hoping that Worthy on a reduced role from what he's had since Rashee Rice has returned is that this game, as high scoring as it's forecasted, is that Worthy does something explosive with the ball in his hands, which he's more than capable of doing. We've seen that. They do play, design plays towards him. In space, he's dynamic. I worry about the phasing, not phasing out, but being lost in the shuffle in Kansas City, because it very easily could be Rashee Rice. It could be Juju that scores a touchdown, Travis Kelce, etc. Could be Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who was elevated to the team today. In case you guys need the breaking news, boom shakalaka. That is horrible.
I actually removed that sound drop because I didn't want people's eardrums to be blown out for the rest of the season. So
I'll just do it myself. I'll just do it. Get rid of all the sound effects. I'm going to start doing it myself.
I changed a couple of them.
Police Academy. I'm just going to be Michael Winslow.
The beeps, the sweeps, and the creeps. Yeah,
exactly. And
no one gets that reference. Yeah, exactly. Nobody gets that reference.
I do. Well, here. Bob Hope has a question, which is Juwan Jennings or Bam Knight in a flex spot. It's PPR. Start with that one first, JT.
Again, I want it to be Juwan Jennings, but I'm nervous about it. I'm probably going Bam Knight.
And then as far as the next option here, Jorge, you have Jacoby Myers, Cortland Sutton, Keenan Allen. I know.
Again, the Sutton thing, the defensive matchup for Houston against Houston is just it's scaring me away, man. So it's really coming down to Keenan Allen and Jacoby Myers, and I don't really trust Geno Smith. So give me Keenan Allen out of the situation.
Yep, I'm right there with you. All right.
We got Juan with his essay. That was not a Spanish reference. That was a essay for like a long paragraph of questions here.
All right, let's break it down. So he's got his wide receiver 2 and 3 and the flex spot. Start with the wide receiver question first. Let's choose between Debo, Jameer DK, Jordan Addison, Kayshon Boutte, Quentin Johnston. Probably going to narrow it down, I'm guessing, for you two between Debo and Kayshon Boutte. Is that a fair statement?
That's exactly who I was going to go for.
And then
he has running backs to include for his flex options.
Exactly. So Zach Charbonnet, Bill. Oh, the Travion Henderson first question of the day. I am so excited. I'm waiting for more because maybe not. That was the other thing I was thinking is maybe no one's going to actually mention anything because, like Rachel, I know you're in the chat and she has a question about a specific name that I'm intrigued to see his involvement. And that'll be Terrell Jennings or Terrell Jennings. I don't know how he pronunciates his first name. So I'll say Terrell for all intents and purposes. But out of those three guys, Charbonnet, Bill, Travion.
For me, it is going to be Charbonnet.
JT, are you going to actually dive into the Travion waters?
I am so deep in the Travion waters. I've got him starting everywhere this week. I'm going with him. I'm also a known Charbonnet hater. So he drives me crazy because I have so much Kenny Walker. It just drives me insane. I'm leaning. Here's my thing is, if there's ever a week to play Travion Henderson, this is the week. If he does nothing this week, he's probably dead to almost everyone. They're just going to sit him and not even think about it the rest of the year. If you're taking an upside shot, this is the week to do it. Now, are you literally like rolling the dice, gambling? Yeah, absolutely. You're just taking a chance. I'm diving in one more time on Henderson. I'm hoping this is the week with everything else going on that they finally get him involved and lean on. So I'm going Henderson, though. I clearly understand that it's a long shot and you are absolutely gambling.
But it's also opportunity, and you hope that we want to see explosive plays. We haven't seen much of anything that other than our own internal hope, I think, is what's driving most of these things. There was one piece of that last one though, Jorge.
Oh, I'm sorry, let me go back up.
No, that's okay. Because from a flex spot, there you have the other choice of starting Zach Ertz or George Kittle. And it sounds like...
I think he was talking about that's his tight end. So would you go Ertz, Kittle in there? He's got Adams as his wide receiver 1. He's already got Jacobs and JT as his running back, so he's loaded there. If you're looking at tight end,
that's
I'm
what I
going
was asking.
Kittle. Yeah,
would you start Ertz or Kittle in your flex over the other options that we've mentioned, though? Assuming it's not a tight end premium league.
Yeah, that changes my answer. I would go Kittle over Charbonnet for me.
I would too. I'd start Kittle if you're asking me between Ertz and Kittle. I'd start Kittle at tight end. But if you're asking flex play, I probably play Kittle over any of those running backs, and probably most of the wideouts too. I'm probably going Kittle.
There you go. So Juan, first of all, great team, or second of all, great team. Good luck. This is the question I was alluding to, guys, because it's a deep. It's a low one. We know. She needs one flex. Jeremy McNichols, RJ Harvey, Terrell Jennings. For those that don't know Terrell Jennings' name, and his value has continued to percolate to the top because of his potential usage in that running back room in New England. And many assume that his involvement in this game is going to be heavier, and he's going to be the proverbial straw that broke the Travion Henderson manager's back and sends them into a tailspin. But of these three, is it RJ Harvey?
Yeah, but it's not for the reason that I think people might guess. People might say, "Oh, you're picking RJ Harvey because the snaps are working in his favor, the attempts are working in his favor. They're evening out with J.K. Dobbins." Nope, no, they're not. He's actually had still very few compared to J.K. Dobbins. It's just like, what did he do last week with the attempts that he got and the targets that he got? So that being the case, he's, I'm not getting too cute with Terrell Jennings. If you were so desperate that you started him and it worked out in your favor, good for you. Because no self-respecting analyst is going to tell you, hey, take the guy that no one's heard of, and he's going to be potentially taking all the target or running back snaps away from Travion. That's, I'm not going to be that person. McNichols, I think the Commanders need to focus on just one running back and just get him the volume, which is where JCM is going to be the focal point there. So give me RJ Harvey.
Are you getting crazy, JT? You sticking with us?
Nope, I'm going Harvey, and honestly, the very next question here, I'm probably going Harvey here too. So,
same.
It's the same kind of mix of guys. I'm going Harvey. I just am.
Mm-hmm. I am too. Here's a full point PPR one: Colson Loveland or AJ Barner for the wide receiver. Would you choose Loveland or AJ Barner?
Oh, I would go Loveland. The Bengals have given up the most fantasy points per game, or most fantasy points rather, to the tight end position. Like, if there was a game for this first round pick to really like cement himself as like, I have arrived in the NFL, this is the game to do it.
This is the Travion Henderson of tight end plays. Let's be honest. It's like, if Loveland doesn't do it this week, you're like, what's going on? But you're playing the upside. Like, he's got to have a breakout week, and this is like the week that he should be breaking out. Like, the Bengals tight ends are Bengals linebackers, are awful guarding tight ends. They're terrible. So it's like, if Loveland, if you took Loveland and you've been sitting on him all year and you're like chasing that breakout like you have been chasing the breakout with Henderson, this is the week. So if you're like been waiting on him, if you don't play him this week, you just got to assume you're sitting him the rest of the year, and you're like, I'm out on him. I do like really AJ Barner. I think he's a little safer of a play, but if you're going for upside, Loveland, if he's breaking out, this is the week.
Right. And as far as wide receiver goes, Elikyle Manor, Parker Washington, or Torrey Hood, all three intriguing plays. Obviously, Horton without Cooper Kupp, without Jake Bobo, you essentially, and I threw Bobo in there just for context and for depth, I guess, more than actual ability. But you get where I'm getting at.
Bodies available. Yeah.
Bodies available. Exactly. Does push Horton into a more involved role. Parker Washington, we've talked about a lot. Isle Manor has been, really, really good, but it's still, unfortunately, really bad at times too. So Parker Washington or Horton for me. Which one do you guys lean of the two, Jorge?
I'm going Parker Washington. It's just the matchup versus Las Vegas secondary is too good to pass up.
Yeah, and
I got a quick question: is Cooper Kupp still just questionable, or have they officially called him out yet? Are we still waiting on that? Is it like do we got a percentage? Okay, I haven't seen anything lately. That's why I wasn't sure. Like, is it like looking like he's going to play, looking like he's not going to play? I will say, I love Torrey Horton. Long-term, deep Dynasty pick. He was a guy I was grabbing the end of all kinds of drafts, and I still like his upside big time.
Yeah,
just in general, I'm thinking about.
All right, we got Just Balling with Jay. What's up? Morning to you. We got Logan in the chat. Logan Trust, half PPR. Diggs or Addison in my flex. It is so it's Addison for me, and funny that these are both a current and a former Viking, but it's Addison here.
Yeah, if Diggs was fully healthy, I just don't think he's healthy yet. I think they keep trying to get him back too soon, and then it hurts his actual production on the field, and then we as the fantasy community become more down. And I don't know if he, once he's healthy, we'll come back to you. But for now,
right.
I don't love Addison this week, by the way, but still. All right, so Bill or Bam?
In the words of Emerald Lagasse, Bam!
Oh, JT? I like it.
I concur.
It was pretty loud in my ears. Shocked me.
I took away the boom shakalaka drop and I gave you the Emerald Lagasse.
Exactly.
Ear drum popping. Yeah.
So Jay traded Nico away for Chase Brown in a league where he had no running backs.
That's a good trade.
Still has Drake London, Tet. Was hoping to see Travis Hunter finally break out. I mean, he broke something. Well, he didn't actually. ACL's intact, which is good. I'm sure Nico will go absolutely off this week, rightfully so. Here's the thing. Chase Brown, the last couple weeks, if you bought 2 weeks ago, your return, you bought GameStop as far as what it was at prior, because Chase Brown, everything was, I'd be shocked if he doesn't lose his job to who? Don't know. Maybe Samaje Perine, and Perine's been involved, but somehow, some way, they're utilizing Chase Brown. He's been more efficient with the ball. He's been productive, but you're right, Jay. This is the week where, no, it's not though. That's the thing. We were talking about it. This is the gotcha of Nico, where he's supposed to have all this great match, no Pat Surtain, Nico Collins to the moon, still feels like a trap. The combining Dave Chappelle and Admiral is it Admiral or General? Did he get moved up to General?
He's Admiral Akbar. He's been Admiral.
Which one's higher, Admiral or General?
Different branches. I would think that, and I'm just biased to the Navy, so go Navy. Admiral.
Okay, I don't know.
I think they're actually like neck and neck. Like,
that's what I kind of assume. They have like hierarchical ranks. They're probably really similar, but JT. Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. You were saying?
Ben Hartley wanted to shout out JT first and foremost, and then we get second bidding, which is fair.
It's okay. He's JT's friend. It makes sense,
Oh, he put me ahead of you though, at least, which is also more important.
Yeah. Next question. Moving on to shades. What's going on?
Oh, standard scoring.
Yeah, we're still in it. All right.
Go ahead. Just kidding. All right, he needs to start two. Marvin Harrison Jr., Kenneth Walker, I'm guessing. Kareem Hunt, Kyle Monangai, Travion. Holy shit. Talk about you've been waiting 9 weeks for things to happen, and man, the dust is settled. your Kareem Hunt shares, your Monangai shares, your Travion Henderson all populate into this 1 week where you can only start 2 of the 3. So be prepared. Whoever you sit or whoever we recommend will put up about 26. But that being said, of those, and good morning, Dave. We'll get to you in a second. Sorry. JT, what do you think here? You got to choose 2 of them.
This one is like, you really are like coin flipping here on this one. This one's a toughie. Usually in standard scoring, I almost always lean running back plays in standard scoring. Almost always lean running back plays. Oh, I'm a Marvin Harrison Jr. guy, and I've just been like, I'm like, oh, Brissett's going to play. Finally, he's going to do it. And then, of course, the Brissett game happens, and he gets a concussion right away at the early of the game. And I'm like, no, I had like every bet in the world on Marvin Harrison Jr. that week when they played the Colts. Kenny Walker, I like. The worry problem is Charbonnet's been stealing goal line carries. That's a toughie. Hunt is intriguing. Bills haven't been great against run. Monangai, the thing with Monangai is he's got to play. They don't have anybody else in the Bengals defense. I mean, if you just look at what Breece Hall did last week, I mean, now let's be honest, Kyle Monangai is not Breece Hall, but Breece Hall absolutely tore them up last week. Man, I can't believe I'm going to say sit Marvin Harrison because I love Marvin Harrison Jr. Man, I'm probably leaning Monangai Walker, but I'm telling you, this is really close. This is really close for me. I could talk myself into a few different things here. I really could.
Right. Jorge?
I'm saying Monangai Walker.
All right. Dave, I know you're just jumping in, so it's hard, you know.
It's Harrison and Hunt. I don't like Kenneth White Walker because he's a ghost. The ghost in the red zone on the goal line. On the goal line, he doesn't exist. Look, I still think Harrison's a talent. I'd rather put Harrison in there and him fail, knowing that he's the kind of guy who can, go off for 3 digits and a couple of tutties. So, and Kareem Hunt. I mean, he's obviously the one this week. He was their goal line back before. They're passing down back. This guy's getting 15, 20 touches. What he does with it, we'll see. But Chiefs are looking good recently. I was fortunate enough to see the game last week. It was great. But, Kareem Hunt's still going to get that workload. Monangai, I don't know. I mean, the Chicago offense is just up and down. I just don't know. And Trey Henson, understand he's the one this week, but it's New England. They like to play mystery box, so who knows?
Yeah, this is not helpful that my one would be Kareem Hunt, not because I'm wearing the Chiefs jersey, but because in standard, you give me the person who's had the 5th most goal line looks or 6th most in the NFL, and I think that seems to line up. Granted, doesn't always equate. It wouldn't shock me to see them use Rashee Rice around the goal line, etc. But Kareem Hunt, and then you guys did. You talked about Marvin Harrison Jr. and I don't want to trust the ups and downs, but I do trust one thing: is that Dallas is probably the best recipe for a healthy dose or a healthy diet of fantasy points. And so while you're going to get 2 and 2, you're going to choose either the left side of the screen or the right side of the screen, because I'll go Marvin Harrison and Kareem Hunt as well, even though I could be talked into both Monangai and Kenneth Walker, but I won't, because I'll mute whoever tries to do it.
Doesn't this seem like if you were making him like an all upside list team this week, this is like the list of other than Walker's the guy you go, okay, well, he should be the standout guy. You should obviously play. But like we just said, like Charbonnet's been stealing his goal line touches. So, but all the rest of these guys are like, you're sitting there going, you could talk yourself into each one of them having a monster week this week. This is the absolute all upside team. This is the hopium that you love for fantasy until these guys crush your hopes and dreams. It's like you going in going, ooh, this guy's going to win me this week. He's going to have a monster week. And then you pick the wrong guy and you are pissed.
Exactly. All right. So
check who I bumped in. I don't know if I can do this or not. Can you see that? You can't see that? Oh, no. It's Patrick Mahomes Sr. bumped into him.
Nice.
That dude likes to booze. I'll say that.
Unbelievable.
He was just kicking it by himself. He was just kicking it by himself at a bar.
Hey, you know what? If Patrick Mahomes was my
Joe
son,
Flacco said that's cool. He said he's living in heaven. He didn't realize everyone's living the
It's
dream.
true, it's true.
Sitting at the bar by themselves.
Nice.
All right, Charlene.
God, this is disgusting.
2 points PPR. It's a half point per attempt, an 8-point touchdown. You need to drop one and start two. No one trades in this league, which sucks. I know, I get it, but no one wants to trade with you, Charlene, because they know you're savvy.
A ringer.
Yeah, you'll fleece them. But going back to the Kenneth Walker conversation, David Montgomery. Tajay Spears, Brashard Smith. So here's the thing. Obviously, as we talked about, you value and weigh the 2 point per reception versus the half point rushing attempt. Do any of the running backs there see in either one of you guys' eyes a high number of rushing attempts where you're going to consider them heavily based off of that, or is it strictly going to be related to their pass catching prowess?
I want the dual threat running back, and I think, as bizarre as it sounds, Spears showed a lot of flash last week, and I think they use him more as a pass catching back. I don't know. Kenneth Walker, you cannot drop him just because if Charbonnet goes, he's a, in my opinion, probably top 5 running back. But while Charbonnet's there, he's always going to be limited. Monty, he's a similar situation where if Gibbs goes down, that's a tough one. If I had to drop one, I'd say it's Smith. But it's close. I wouldn't say there's a clear-cut winner.
Yeah, that's probably my drop too. So we need to start 2 of these remaining 3 then. So Kenneth Walker, David Montgomery, Tajay Spears. Dave said Tajay Spears is one of his. Jorge, who would be one of yours?
Kenneth Walker.
And JT, are you taking so we have Kenneth Walker, Tajay Spears. Are those your 2, or would you choose two different?
I know Monty's been frustrating this year. He's been up and down week to week. Like, he's had great games and he's been like completely invisible. Other games, I gotta trust in Monty. I'm going Kenny Walker and Monty, and I'm dropping Smith.
Yep. Sucks to drop Smith because it's the inevitable. You drop the person for him to have the huge week, and there's regrets, but it is what it is. Mr. Scampers, good morning. Congratulations, by the way, on the Dodgers back-to-back World Series championships.
That was crazy.
That was wild.
Carrie was so mad at me because she should have known by the 11th inning that I'm going to get excited when something happens, and it didn't even wake her up. She's sitting right next to me, and yet she gets scared like she didn't expect. Said, just expect me to yell, just not nearly that many times. The Andy Podges catch in center was crazy, just all kinds of things. So congratulations. Money does buy happiness. See,
man, being from San Diego, we love to see LA lose. So it was brutal watching the Dodgers win again. But no, it was a good game. They deserved it.
They did. So it's non-PPR. I know. Go ahead, Jorge. You get Tedero McMillan, or Brian Thomas Jr.
Brian Thomas.
Thomas.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Give me Brian Thomas Jr. The Vegas Raiders allow the 4th most fantasy points to the wide receiver position. It's both actually are susceptible to the wide receiver position, but the Vegas Raiders secondary is just what secondary?
Quick question. Will the Raiders catch the ball for Brian Thomas and hand it to him? And does that count as a reception?
Yeah. However he gets the ball in his hands is going to count for him, but it doesn't matter if it's a PPR or non-PPR, but because it's non-PPR. But yeah, give me Brian Thomas. He has his welcome back about damn time game this week.
I agree with Farmer Joe over here with his overalls.
Thank you. Well, it's my Halloween outfit. I was a farmer for Halloween. So.
Love it.
You just put the camera down.
Dude, I think with Hunter out, who they have there, not too many options. So I think he feasts.
I sure hope so. Everything's lining up. This is a week of should be's. Guys, we got IDP question. You got to pick 2 linebackers
So for the first one for me is Barrett Carter. He's just been unstoppable since he's come into the scene and taken over the LB1 spot for Cincinnati. JT, you want to take the second one?
I'm guessing by edge he means Edger and Cooper.
Yeah,
I'm probably I'm Edger and Cooper.
Yeah,
the Panthers going to have to run the ball, even though they get down. Even if they get down, I think they cannot abandon the run of this game if they're going to have any chance. So I think Cooper's going to have a chance for quite a few plays in this game. So I'm on Cooper.
Yep. I agree. Yeah, Dave agrees too. Great call. Dustin says, "What's up, fellas? What's up to you, man? Having a hard time between the Jags defense and the Packers defense. Starting there, defense question. Yeah. Are you looking, going Jags or Green Bay? I think for me, Green Bay is the most likely answer. The opportunity for turnover and the Jags don't impress me much with anything on the defensive side other than the hope and a prayer, I guess.
We should have had a Shania Twain drop there.
I know. I was singing it in my head.
We should have meetings before our shows just to plan out drops.
Yeah, just talk through the jokes. The only upside for the Jags is Geno plays terrible and throws a bunch of picks and fumbles. I think that's the upside. That's what you're leaning on. I think you got to play the Packers. I'm playing the Packers all over the place. I think you got to play. They're just a way superior defense against another not great team. I think you got to go Packers for sure. And then the other one, like I said, I love Woody, but this is 1 week I'm avoiding Woody in my lineups. The only leagues I'm playing him is when I don't have any other options because the injuries are flex. Even though he hasn't been great, I'm probably playing DJ instead.
I swear there was a "that's what she said" question or comment right in what you were saying there, but I dropped the ball with it. There could be.
Ben has another IDP question for you guys. He's currently starting Nick Bolton, Robert Spillane, Byron Young, Bethune. Mm-hmm. Are y'all playing Eric Wilson in a juicy matchup or Barrett Carter, the aforementioned, over any of the guys listed?
So I really like Spillane this week. I would probably play Spillane over the guys listed, but Barrett Carter would be my 2 in this situation.
I would start Carter over Bethune. I gotta play Bolton. He's my favorite guy. I'm irrationally a Bolton fan, so I can never sit him ever. Spillane I love, and Byron Young. Yeah, to me, I'm going Bolton, Spillane, Byron Young, and then I'm probably playing Carter as my last guy.
Nick Bolton, by the way, last week impressed me. We'll do the Shania Twain. He did impress me much. There was a play where he was obviously not right. Something was wrong. And I don't know what the injury was. It could have been a stinger. It could have been got the wind knocked out of him. Kind of like he looked so out of it and like he had no interest. When you're banged up on a play, the last thing you want to do is be the first one to initiate contact. You probably want to he was head first into the backfield on the neck. And it's just small little things that probably no one else even noticed, but he looked like a walking wounded for one play, came in, had a huge play the following, and continued to I'm a Nick Bolton fan too. So it really was just one of those little things that makes me like him even more. So, all right. Defense question number 2. The Lions, the Patriots, or the Broncos?
So the real thing here is that you look at the Broncos. They are 4th fewest allowed to the quarterback, 10th to running back, 2nd to wide receiver, 8th to tight end, right? All fewest in the fantasy points allowed category. The only susceptibility that New England has shown on defense is they allow the 6th most points to the tight end position, which is why a lot of people are pro Kyle Pitts this week. The question is, do you trust Kyle Pitts to light up the Patriots defense, or do you expect the Broncos to clamp down without Patrick Surtain? I vote the latter, so I would go Broncos defense in this situation.
Give me the Patriots D. I know I'm a homer, but they're looking hot. They're that's what you said. They're the cool kid on the club right now. So while they're hot, I'm staying with the Patriots. They're looking great. Offense,
I think the
defense?
Broncos probably have the best defense in the league, are right up there. I almost would always go Broncos, but if I did take a week where I didn't take Broncos, I maybe would go Patriots. Going, you know, we're starting to get cold. We got a dome team going to, going up to New England. They just looked awful last week. I 9 times out of 10, I'm telling you to play the Broncos no matter what. I don't care the matchup. But this is the one week I'm like, I'm probably playing the Patriots. I'm taking the upside. The Patriots like make it real ugly and make Atlanta look terrible.
There we go. So he's letting us know that Admiral and General basically have the same duties, just different branches. Jorge, you were spot on with that.
Duties.
I think duty. Cat for life, gentlemen.
Hilarious.
What's up, man? RB2 slot. Samaje Perine.
Oh, it's
or
Perine.
Terrell Jennings from the Patriots.
It's Perine for me. You look at the touches the past 2 weeks between Chase Brown and Samaje Perine. You look at the yards per carry. You look at basically every aspect of running the ball out. You know, targets are where Chase Brown is getting that separation and helping his fantasy point production. But Perine, in a game that has what is it? They have the on the main slate the second highest over under. Give me Samaje Perine in this matchup.
Yep. There you go. All right, Dylan says good morning. Let's have a day. You're right. It is. It's week 9. We're trying to get off that. You know, for many the the 500 bubble or trying to get back to 500 or at least closer in. Can't be 500 on 9 weeks, so I definitely caught my own mistake there. It's all right.
You caught it though. You caught it. That's the important part. So
those who are out of it, if you are 0-8, just take down your friends. All right, just make it your effort to go down swinging. All right,
exactly.
Even if you finish with, whatever it is, 3-14, that's fine. But ruin someone's day.
Yeah,
it's
there are no friends anymore. Yeah,
exactly.
It is. I'm right there with you. So
don't roll over. Yeah.
All right,
so T. Higgins against the Bears, Tucker Kraft against Carolina. Has TJ Warren or Tyler Warren, I'm sorry, at tight end. Leading Kraft because Joe Flacco's shoulder worries me and worries me as well. And Jamar Chase has seen it's not $1 billion yet. It's close. It's like 997 million, something. Projected to be a close matchup with the opponent. So with a close matchup, that being said, guys, projections aside, we all know how projections can be, but are you shooting for the safe floor play if you think it's going to be a tight matchup, or are you going for the shoot the moon? I'm probably going floor. Question is who's the safer floor? Is that T. Higgins or is it Tucker Kraft? I think you can make a case for both of those as being a safer play. Jorge, I'll let you start with that one.
I agree with Dylan. I would also lean Kraft in this situation. Not because Flacco's shoulder he's dealing with an injury here, but I think this game is going to be a lot more balanced, and more often than not, T. Higgins seems to be the odd guy out compared to Jamar Chase. So yeah, I would go Kraft in this situation.
Man, you want safety? Then you have barbecue. What's your safe side? It's mac and cheese, right? Give me the Kraft. Give me Kraft mac and cheese.
It's not safe. What there's lactose intolerance.
There's constipation. There's all sorts of bad issues.
You suffer through constipation sometimes with mac and cheese, right?
There's mineral oil. That's okay. Yeah.
Hot take. I don't like mac and cheese. So
Higgins, if you look at
really,
I might.
Yep.
I don't mind it. Don't like it as a main.
I like Velveeta, not mac and cheese. So.
What kind of lunatic people have it as a main?
Oh yeah, people have it as a main. Yeah.
At my barbecue restaurant, we do mac and cheese, and you pick your meat. You can put in like pulled pork, brisket, barbecue chicken, buffalo chicken, Polish sausage, smoked Polish in the mac and cheese bowl. Is my favorite.
That tells me that
with the hot barbecue sauce on top. Just saying.
What you're telling me
in the Midwest, going to practice police in the smokehouse in Muhammad, Illinois.
The place I went to last week in KC was Jack Stacks. That's actually a pretty good one. I've never been there before. I've always done the Joe's Barbecue or Q39. Q39's good, but Jack Stacks I was impressed with.
Jack Stacks
Sorry.
is solid. Really good.
Irrelevant. We keep moving.
No, very relevant. I'm sorry. I'm going to piss a lot of people off with the mac and cheese steak, but that's because I just don't really care for cheese that much. So, it is what it is.
Kraft mac and cheese, it's got to be homemade. You're right. You got to do some homemade mac and cheese if you're going to do it. Believe that.
You know what I'd like to add in there? People think it's weird. Mozzarella. I like my mac and cheese stretchy. Get it stretchy. It adds a touch, right? Otherwise, it's just like clag glue,
See, I like adding like the cheese. First of all, Velveeta has like the creamy liquid versus the powder and Kraft, so that's why I go Velveeta. But you add some shredded sharp cheese that also gives it that stretchy, gooey, aspect that you were just describing there, Dave. So, fun fact.
A little bit of pulled pork in there. That way you can like mix it.
See, that's what JT was talking about. And that to me says that's the main. It's not the mac and cheese. It's the protein. And you just, instead of, having it on a plate, you have it on a bowl of macaroni and cheese. And that is your filler. But yes, it's
when you use the good stuff. You don't like to cheddar, a little mozzarella, a little Gouda. You got to get the good stuff in there with some real cream and cook it on the stove. That's when you're eating like legit mac and cheese. That total different universe than the Insta stuff.
Yeah. You know what I like to do? You get brisket, right? And get the beans and roll it like it's pigs and blankets. It's good. All right. I'll stop
like that.
So from delicious barbecue talk to Chimera DK versus Alec Pierce. There's I don't have any good correlation to that other than that is so we went from, and I'll, lean on your guys' side. We go from mac and cheese to a coleslaw question of, no one.
That's a good one. Coleslaw is about what this is. Yes, you're right.
No,
but there's only one good coleslaw.
Yeah.
It's not if you're choosing a side.
I swear to God, you guys crap on potato salad. I'm going to lose my shit.
No, I love potato salad.
Okay, thank you.
But this is the question. DK,
get out of here with
your
potato salad.
Okay, Dave.
Okay, where's the? Okay, you know what? None of that.
You're
none
done.
of that.
No, unless you said
people.
But
get me back on.
Is that does open up the floodgates to
I saw the
kinds.
The host has muted your mic
because then it comes into the mustard versus mayonnaise potato salad, and that I see is different. I mean, I'm team mustard, but I get that. So here, let's answer this. Chimera DK, Alec Pierce. JT's been on record of saying Alec Pierce is his start. Do either of you two lean DK?
I do.
Or
give me the. Give me the dyke on a bike. I'd rather. I would much rather that than Pierce because there's look, Jones is playing great, but he might be the 1 this week. He might be the 4 on his own team. I just don't know what we're getting with Pierce. Talented receiver, but he's not the number 1 option. I just don't know how many targets he's getting. DK.
I literally was about to say, Dave, don't, and then you just went and said exactly what it was.
It's there. It's there in plain sight.
I know it's softballing it to you. I get it, but I would go Pierce actually in this matchup. So, okay, let's see here. So Jonathan Klanowski would agree with you here, Andrew. Wilts. I don't think that David. I said that right, or did you?
Whilst.
Yeah,
just the word while with at the end.
Whilst we talk about barbecue sides, we need to discuss a flex potential between Kareem Hunt and Bam Knight.
Kareem Hunt.
Yes.
Stay away from Bam Bam.
All right. Start 2. Marcus Jones, Xavier Watts.
Oh, sorry.
Jesse Bates, Quan Martin. Marcus Jones. I
wasn't sure if it's super flex. I got you. Defense. My bad. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I love Marcus Jones, but Jesse Bates has been playing a lot more in the box closer to the line of scrimmage than Xavier Watts. Quan Martin, Jeremy Reeves, we don't know. They flip-flop too much in box snaps each and every week. Marcus Jones, I love him in cornerback-only leagues, but if I had to pick one, it'd be Jesse Bates here. Nadir, welcome back, obviously, to the show. He says, thanks for the sweat advice last week. Absolutely. Glad that paid off for you. Andrew, and since my league is so close this year, do I drop Hawkinson and stream AJ Barner? He has Goddard on a bye. Dave?
I'm going Hawk. I mean, he's the red zone guy there. So I know I'm taking the risk on relying on a tutty, but Hawkinson is, they still do use him down the stretch. I mean, he's good for a 20, 30 yard reception down there. It's probably only going to get 3 or 4 catches, but one of them likely is going to be a touchdown. So give me TJ.
What about you?
What is his first name, actually? TJ Hawkinson.
I don't know. That's a great question.
TJ.
Terrell Jennings Hawkinson. It's all the questions earlier about Terrell Jennings have been about Hawkinson, and we've answered them incorrectly the whole time. So apologies to people previously. I don't know. What do you think AJ stands for?
Andrew Jackson Barner?
Yes,
I don't know.
it's exactly. A lot of people are naming their kids after
Andrew
presidents from the
Jones?
1800s. So, once you guys go to the next question, which is an IDP question, that gives me 2 seconds to do Google. So
Okay.
go for it.
Thomas James, by the way. Thomas
well-
James Hawkinson.
All right. Nadir asks, pick 1 to 2 defensive linemen or 1 to 2. Am I saying that correctly? Am I reading that right?
Yeah, he's saying you can pick 1 or 2 D linemen, 1 or 2
one.
linebackers, and he needs 3 guys
Got it.
total. So you can either take 2 linemen and a linebacker, or 2 linebackers and a D line.
So I would go Benito for my 1 D lineman. No, I would go. Yeah, no. I'll go 2 defensive linemen here. I would go Benito and Sweat, and then 1 linebacker with Wagner.
It's Albert Barner, by the way, for those wondering. No middle name given on Wikipedia.
Just
So I might
J
just,
there.
I'm going to go ahead and edit Wikipedia real quick and add Javarius is what I'm going to go with.
Exactly. Or a good solid Jerome if you have the opportunity to add that there as well.
I can do whatever I want. You can.
That's just
edit.
true. You put Jorge in there for all you want. So there you go.
Whoa. Or Justin or
any named it with a J. It's
yeah.
The options are almost limitless. Ben with an IDP flex question.
They're
Craig,
extremely
what's-
limited to the letter J. I mean, literally, you have
There's a lot of
Within
IDP
the-
questions.
some of the most. I know that's good.
I love it.
Yeah, that's great.
Which, by the way, if you haven't already, head over to fantasyandframes.com and check out our IDP rankings for the week, as well as read our plays and fades by Joe Harlow. He put out for IDP 3 plays at defensive lineman, linebacker, and defensive back. Head over, check out my waiver wire article to see who you should be getting ahead of, not only this week, but for the weeks going forward. His question, deep question, just defensive back question. Craig Woodson or Jonas Sanker. JT, would you agree that the Patriots secondary, since they got rid of Kyle Duggar, is the youth movement and they've just been producing and outperforming their expectations this year?
Yeah, also a reminder, watch Shoot the Gap every Wednesday night,
Boom.
9 o'clock Eastern Time, 8 Central for IDP content. This one's a close one for me. Woodson, yeah, they're definitely, like I've talked about it, they're cleaning house of all the old guys. And anyone that was a main player picked from the old regime, they want all new guys. They want their guys. I like what Woodson's done this year. This week, though, I'm leaning Sanker this week. I think there's a chance he has to make a million plays for this defense. I think this Saints defense is going to be on the field a ton. I mean, a ton of time. So I'm taking, even though I like Woodson a lot, to me this week, Sanker feels like the higher upside play, just in the fact that I think there's a chance he's on the field twice as many plays as Woodson today.
And the Saints are, susceptible to the running game, so they could have him crouch on the box or the defensive line alignment there to help with tackles for loss. So that's a good call there, JT.
Mm-hmm. So Nadir has tight end room consisting of Helm, Ertz, and Ingram. Do you need all 3? I guess the question is, can you make moves? Should you upgrade over Ertz or Ingram realistically? I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say without knowing what other teams have as their depth. And
Right.
question is the only real significant gain is if you move up to that upper echelon of tight end, because everybody else is kind of put in that same tier from Ertz to Ingram, even, as you go down to Helm. I don't know if I would trade away a valuable piece unless someone's just like if someone has McBride and Gadsden and you think you can get one of the two for less because they can't start both. But yeah, it's hard to say exactly. All right, Ben has an offense question now.
Can you throw that up there? I'm tagging more starts and questions. So,
I got you. Yeah. So offense now. Pick 2 PPR scoring. Kenneth Walker, Debo, Sutton, Khalil Shakir, David Montgomery. Picking 2 out of this. I'm going to say Debo's a 1 for me. I'm going Debo and Khalil Shakir myself. JT, are you leaning? And once JT answers, I'm going to start mad scrolling through and posting some of the comments there because I think they've been hilarious.
They are great food comments.
I think probably Debo. Man, it's so hard. I want Kenny Walker and DeMonte. Yeah, I want Monty. I love those guys. I play those guys almost all the time, but the inconsistency of Monty getting consistent touches and then Walker getting touches, but nothing near the goal line. It's been very, very frustrating. Again, I'm only playing Sutton in spots where he's a clear higher player than anyone I got. I'm just sitting in this week. I don't like the matchup. I'm going Debo. Man, I think the play is probably Shakir, and I don't think I would normally say that, but we've seen these Bills-Chiefs games. They just always end up being shootouts. You got to think that he's going to have a shot in a PPR to get or for him is higher because I just am not sure what I'm getting at Walker and Monty. I like Walker and Monty. I'm playing them in like 80% of the time in my leagues, but I'm probably going those other dudes.
Gotcha. Yeah. And so, like I said, I'll jump through some of these because I feel like they deserve to be talked about because we like to keep the conversation. We got a couple more hours. We can talk more football, but obviously food talk in the morning is fantastic. Moggs says mac and cheese is goated. While we may disagree. Oh, wait. You know what? That was from earlier because Scampers then did fancy pants here. Wants to throw some lobster in there. Well, of course. Or spam. That's the question. That's the way some of these questions can be phrased. Are these choosing lobster or spam? And so many of the spam people will tell you spam's goated in many people's eyes. I haven't really
spam is the lobster of Hawaii. So if you live in Hawaii, spam is the lobster of Hawaii. Yes,
you've been had a masubi. Masubi is like I guess what we would have as a burrito here in Cali, right? It's spam with rice wrapped in seaweed, and they put. You guys had that before?
I have not.
I love it. Tasty.
I have. I've had it.
So as far as the coleslaw question, Jorge, we're not doing start sit questions right now.
All right.
We're doing
sorry, Julian. We'll get to you in a second. Just hang tight.
No, we'll go back. I got it. All right. So for the RB2 and a PPR, Alvin Kamara, Charbonnet, Tajay Spears, Rashard Smith. Dave?
It's hard to sit Kamara out of them. I have him in so many leagues, and to be honest, I'm sitting him in all of them, but those other options are not. You're talking about those other guys are the genuine running back twos on their team this year. Kamara's still the one. You've got to trust the talent there. I like Rashard Smith. I mean, I think he's going to get looks. It's going to be him and Hunt all day long. Charbonnet, you're relying on an end zone. I mean, he's been great, don't get me wrong, but at one point, Walker's going to take over. So give me Kamara and Smith.
Yeah. We only get one, though. So Kamara. It's for the RB2 position.
Oh, sorry. My bad. I thought it was start two. Yeah. Well, yeah, nope. Start Kamara.
Yeah, I get it. But Scampers have a question, though, because this is important. Are you guys vinegar-based coleslaw or mayonnaise-based?
Oh, it's got to be. No, I don't like too much sugar in there. Why are people adding sugar in coleslaw?
Because it's delicious.
No, you don't need sugar. We have sugar in everything in America. Come on.
Yeah,
let's pump the brakes on the sugar.
That's why you came to America, isn't it? A lack of sugar trade in Australia. They're like,
I have my coffee just with a little bit of milk, no sugar. Who puts sugar? You go to Starbucks, man. They're just milkshakes. Black. Let's be honest. Starbucks is milkshakes.
They're delicious.
So adding all these like syrups and foams and God knows what.
I know I'm a black coffee kind of person myself. Charlene might have made the most sensible statement so far of anyone. No offense to everybody else with good comments, but Dijon potato salad for me, I agree. Dijon mustard, the tang, pretty solid.
The lobster one, I will say, I love lobster, but why you got to mix it? It's like putting Wagyu steak in there. You wouldn't do that, right? You have it on its own. Just leave lobster for what it is. It's a beautiful food. Grill it.
You know, so here's what you can do.
It ends up combined anyhow. I mean, come on, let's be real.
Yeah, but it's not the same. It's not the same.
If
you just roll it in there.
Pivot to langoustine. Langoustine is not actual lobster. It's budget lobster. It's technically more of a crustacean, similar to like the shrimp or crawdad, I guess, if you will. And it has the same flavor profile, a very similar flavor profile as lobster. Good supplement, much cheaper. You can add it. You can fool your friends. In fact, actually, Red Lobster got in trouble over saying they used to have lobster rolls when, in fact, actually they were serving langoustine. And so they can no longer call it lobster roll, or they have to put some type of caveat there. A little food for thought. Here's another food for thought. Is Theo Johnson or Rondé Gatson, is one spam and the other lobster, JT?
Guess is the lobster. You got to play Gatson in this situation. Absolutely. I do like Theo Johnson, but like I said, you're counting on, you're hoping you get a TD out of Johnson. Gatson upside as far as he's looked so good and Herbert likes him. He literally is just a huge wide receiver. And that's what people are saying. I'm like, he's technically a tight end, but he's really just a huge wide receiver is what he really is. Jorge,
you get the next one. It's not this. Why not both mustard and mayonnaise? Because people like choices. You can get both.
Yeah,
not combining them. He's offering two separate sides. You know, you choose. I don't think he's saying combine the two. Scampers isn't a lunatic. That's crazy talk.
5 minutes later, it's like, actually,
yeah, it actually is together.
Yeah, my bad.
I know. Well, Scampers knows I love him, so it doesn't all in good. But Test PK has a question for you, Jorge. This is a half point PPR.
Yeah.
Corey Horton, Parker Washington. We're seeing a theme with some of these same names, rightfully so.
I am still going to go Parker Washington. Again, if there's any point I want to hammer home to people today is that the Raiders secondary, meaning cornerback situation. What cornerback situation?
Yes.
What did they pay Geno Smith? Is he there on a long-term contract?
What's the long-term contract these days? I feel like teams make contracts, they find outs some way or somehow.
Is it a one-year deal? I mean,
it's not a one-year deal. They did extend him, I think.
Yeah.
I bet they regret that decision. Tom Brady should have.
Tom Brady's like, who the hell made this choice? Why did I join the ownership group here?
They'll just dump them and go. Scampers, though, does had a comment for AJ Barner.
Yeah.
His name should be Axel Jacked. Love that. Albert Jacori.
Yeah.
Albert Jamistius or Jamastius, however you want to say it. I'm sure he would choose which way it's. And Jamastius is completely made up. It sounds good to me. It's definitely made up, but at the same time, I love it. And then any other on the AJ verse is
that was it.
That's it. All right. So he's got to Dave, you got to bench one of these guys. Michael Pittman Jr., Roma Dunze, George Pickens. Good luck with this decision because man, all three.
I'm going with Pittman. It's not that I don't like Pittman. It's that you just don't know who week it's going to be. I feel like they play spin the wheel and they pick who's going to be the one. So I'd rather the certainty of Pickens and a Dunze getting the looks. I mean, Pickens is looking more like a 1B than he is a wide receiver too. So I'm trusting Pickens. Dunze, when the offense is firing, he's the guy. Middle of the field, red zone, everywhere. So, this is very close. But if gun to my head, I'm going to Dunze Pickens.
There you go.
Yeah.
That is tricky. I think we could all four have completely different answers and all be separated by a half a fantasy point between the four. Jorge, next one. This is going to go to JT.
All right.
So she has a gross one for you. It's Queen's Classic. It's one wide receiver, flex, two options. So two flex, one wide receiver. JT, I want you to start with the one wide receiver that you would choose between Xavier Legette, Jaden Higgins, Jacoby Myers, Roman Wilson. That's it, because Jordan Mason's a running back. So start there with one of the wide receivers.
I do like Legette. I think he's going to see some action this week because they're going to be down a little bit. But I think you got to go with the vet. You got to go Jacoby Myers for me is just the safest play. So I'm probably taking Myers off the bat. And then the flex plays, Roman Wilson looked much better last week. All my Steelers friends were like, they finally are using Roman Wilson. Like that's all I got was like, oh my God, Roman Wilson's alive. They're using him. I'm not sold that they're going to keep doing that all on a consistent basis. So I'm probably not going Roman Wilson. I'm going Legette there. Man, I like Jordan Mason until they brought Aaron Jones back, and then things were ugly last week for those two. So if it was pre-Aaron Jones, I would say clearly play Jordan Mason, but now I'm real nervous after seeing what happened last week. And I'm fading all the Texans, which is why it's hard on Higgins. Oh man, I don't know if one of you guys have a better take than this. I'm probably on Legette and Myers. Does somebody else feel strongly about one of those other three?
I'm going Mason. I still think that they use him as a 1-2 punch. I don't think Aaron Jones is just a clear-cut one. As much as it pains me, I've got him everywhere. But yeah, Mason still looks good. So, and Legette, I mean, it's a risk with Legette, but yeah, when the offense is doing good, yeah, he has shown flashes of brilliance. So I'm going to take the risk there. And look, this is a flyer. I think Roman Wilson's worth it. It's worth it this week. Let's see how much they involve him.
Yeah, the Jordan Mason just against Detroit scares me in that you're seeing the workload reduction in half, and then you're seeing the opportunity as far as a good matchup cut down even probably further. Just because Detroit's been the fifth best against the opposing running backs doesn't mean that Jordan Mason couldn't have a better week than what the aforementioned names are. I agree with you, JT. Jacoby Myers could be, if I'm him, I'm going to do everything in my power to have the best week I could possibly have and drive up that trade potential to get me the F out of Vegas as soon as possible, because he is on the trade block. A huge week would obviously help build his trade value. So if I'm the Raiders, I'm thinking, hey, feed the ball to Jacoby Myers. Let's get his value up as much as we can so we can get something good in return and then move on. Legette, Myers, and
Mason.
Man, I probably still Mason, even though I don't love it. I just don't like. I like Calvin Austin the third a ton this week in Pittsburgh for two things. Number one, slot against the Colts has been fantastic, and just I get the feeling they're going to pepper that target as much as they do. Even though I think all three options are good, and I'm sorry this is a long tangent, but the yards after the catch for the Steelers has been phenomenal. That's actually one thing that they've excelled in. Aaron Rodgers' ADOT's one of the lowest in the leagues. His yards off after catch excelled is one of the highest. And the Colts have given up, I think, the most yards after catch in the league. And so those two confluence of events should be pretty positive there.
I think we missed a trade question with from Nadir. Sorry, Nadir.
Oh, sorry.
Would you trade Jamar Chase for Barkley and Myles Garrett? Also, you have Puka. Let me tell you, if you're getting 6 points a sack or 5 or 6 points a sack in a mixed offense IDP league, Myles Garrett is as sure of a thing as there is for IDP. And you're getting Saquon Barkley, who finally, had his, biggest breakout of the season last week. I hate to use the narrative, the cold months are coming and the teams like to run the ball, which there is truth to that to a certain degree, but it's not the most analytically sound. But if I'm looking for high upside playmakers in Garrett and Barkley, and you already have Puka Nacua, yeah, I think that is I would make that trade.
See, I wouldn't, and I'll tell you why. Sometimes if you've got a stacked position, so if you've got elite wide receivers, at least that's your foundation. Then you can start playing, waiver wires with your running backs and what have you. I don't know. I wouldn't. He's just too good to give up.
Man, if that was Chase Brown, I'm making that trade for Barkley and Garrett. Jamar Chase, and I love Chase Brown. ILL.
Or Chase Daniels?
But
Chase Daniels?
Jamar Chase, the Jamar Chase, I think, I love Chase Daniels, my boy, my Mizzou guy. I love him. Jamar Chase, I think I'm holding unless I'm just desperate at running back and DN. Like, I'm competing this year. I have a shot to win, but man, I need a running back and a DN so bad. I think that's the only way I'm probably making that trade. And I'm probably asking for a draft pick also, to be honest with you. I'm probably asking for one more piece to give up Jamar Chase.
Yeah, you need a little more. You need a little more than Barkley and Garrett.
All right. Just following what Jay says, Kyle Monangai, Rico Daddle, in a PPR 100-yard bonus. Green Bay very stout against the run. We're expecting lots of volume to go Rico's way, whether that was coach speak or not, and that they choose to get Chuba a little bit more involved. That's the tricky question here. We're counting on lots of volume here in a game that Green Bay should be up, so game script favors the passing game. But if I was a betting person, which I'm not, but let's just say I'm giving you the analytical information here, who do you expect to be getting these receptions? Do you expect it to be the running back out of the backfield getting these receptions for garbage time points, or do you expect it to be the wide receivers for the Carolina Panthers? I would vote the latter. So give me Monangai, and nobody is taking snaps away from him. Like, no Roshan Johnson, no DeAndre Swift. It's basically him in this backfield. So the chances for 100 yards on the day. Is it 100 yards combined or 100 yards rushing? Because that also plays a huge factor.
I'm guessing I have the same in my league where it's 100 yards for receiving or rushing.
Yeah. So
it's not scrimmage yards.
So
it makes the game so much more fun. I have 5-point bonuses if you hit 100, because when you have your guy who's on 98 rushing yards.
Yeah,
the intensity is wild. I had one earlier this year where I had Alvin Kamara. He went to 101 yards. And then he did another rushing attempt where he lost 2. Lost that week by 3 points. It was brutal.
I used to be anti-bonuses, like really staunchly against it, because I just wanted what the play on the field dictated to be, with the fans. But I see. I'm starting to see the benefit.
It adds
there.
That intensity, that extra
a little bit, right?
Component of the game. If you're playing against someone who's got 97 yards, you're like, please, no more.
JT, who would you take here in this situation? And Dave will go to you.
First off, I'm 100% pro bonuses. I started my family league with kids this year, and we bonused everything, like crazy bonus scoring. Like, I love the high bonuses. Absolutely. Longer touchdown, give me bonus points. Long pass, long rush, give me bonus points. 100 yards, give me huge bonus points. 200 yards, give me monster bonus points. I'm all about that. I'm going Monangai here. Now, Rico has been an amazing story. But again, I think he's going to see a lot of volume, but Green Bay is going to be tough. I just think Monangai against a really horrible Bengals defense. I mean, we just look at this. The Jets hadn't scored a touchdown in 2 weeks, and then they just lit up the Bengals. I just think Monangai, no competition. I mean, was Travis Homer the only other healthy running back for the Bears? So I think Monangai gets 1 million carries. I'm going with him. If you're looking for the 100, I think he has a shot to get 100. Also, Nate, love the ILL jersey, baby. That's fantastic.
You know who it is?
Who's 17?
He is going to be I'm going to early predict he's going to be the second best IDP edge rusher in the draft next year, none other than Gabe Yakis.
Yakis. Plus, he's got an awesome name to say. Yakis.
Yeah, he's a stud. He's monster.
It's like, is that a soft
6'3",
J?
260.
Is it like yogging? Because
it is like yogging.
He's like
Yorga. Yeah.
Yep. All the Illinois talk, and then the Chase Brown and Myles Garrett. And I thought, what a good correlation to maybe not Myles Garrett. I'm not going to put Gabe Yakis as Myles Garrett, but I got to tell you, really think someone's going to get a steal.
He is a freaking stud.
Late second round next year.
You're making me want to start looking at college stuff and getting ready for our college draft coverage for the spring already. with all this talk here.
Dude, I can't watch college for the sake of my marriage because I already
No,
lose one day.
Yeah.
I already lose one day a week to NFL. If I had 2 days just, being an absentee, like I'm, on Sundays, like I'm there in body, but not in spirit and mind,
Right.
But yeah, trying to avoid that. But it's tough because especially when you're trying to pick rookies for the next year, you're like trying to watch highlights and what have you. But you've really got to know your stuff if you're going to find especially in Dynasty, you've got to be on top of that. If you're not watching who the genuine, people who can transition, we've seen so many like good college talent that just didn't eventuate to NFL. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember D'Anthony Thomas. I had high hopes for him, and he just
had him.
failed
I just
miserably.
held him on my dynasty leagues forever. I just wait for it to break out. Also, I will say, only watching Sunday, my girlfriend would probably think you're the greatest human being ever. She means you don't watch football every day of the week like my boyfriend does. Like, yeah. She's like, you can have days where you don't watch football. I'm like, no, you can't. You have to watch sports every day. So,
yeah,
that's my life, obviously.
Yeah. To answer this question here, IDP question, Ventrell Miller. It depends if Devin Lloyd's playing, right? If Devin Lloyd is not playing, Ventrell Miller would be the replacement. And the Raiders are very generous to the linebacker position over the past 3 weeks, allowing the 10th most fantasy points to the linebacker position. So if you didn't have any other options and you just wanted to play the backup for Devin Lloyd, he would definitely be the play and has a good matchup.
There you go.
Well, hey, by the way, did you redecorate your room or did you go to a different one?
I've switched where my desk is at. It used to be where it was facing the bookshelf in the back, but I was getting so conflicted because I would always like change every week. What am I putting on the top shelf? What am I putting on the second shelf? And like it was getting super frustrating. So I decided to go more minimalist and switch it around. And then the green color pops a little bit more than the bookshelf. And then I have the jerseys. I have Jaden Daniels right there, but I'm covering that up. But I have the Commander's helmet here. So I wanted to do a little bit different and mix it up to answer your question.
I'm going to be critical. I missed the old one. The old one was better.
It takes some time. Maybe it's an adjustment period.
It is. I'm just not big on change,
I understand that.
But it's still good. Still looks pretty.
Thank you.
So it was going better before Jorge was insulted by his choice of locations.
I just come on here and insult people and leave,
Yeah.
Show up late, insult you, get out of here.
Exactly.
Mute button hit again.
Exactly.
Yep. Whoops, did I forget to
Spam is
unmute
delicious.
you? I'm sorry. Spam is delicious.
But Rav does have a question of who to flex between JMO, Romeo Dobbs, Troy Franklin, Jacoby Myers. Boy, you make a case for each one. I think you could win an argument against somebody because it is tricky. I think
Franklin's the guy.
I agree.
And look, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say,
I'll go. Jameson Williams, we was always talking about his floor being 0. We saw that not last week, it was a week before. It was legitimately 0. So that's what I always worry about with him. Dobbs, he's hot or cold. Franklin, I don't know, man. I mean, he's looking good all over the field. And Jacoby Myers, he's talented, but the Raiders offense, you just cannot trust. So
yeah, I would go Franklin. The Jalen Petrie matchup there favors Franklin in this situation. And even if they were to, and especially if they try to double Cortland Sutton, because excuse me, not what am I trying to say? With Kamari Lassiter or Franklin has the better matchup going against Jalen Petrie this week.
Yeah, because they'll just put Stingley on Cortland Sutton,
right?
And basically take Cortland Sutton out of the game. That's the whole reason why JT and I, we've all been kind of down on Cortland Sutton is that one-on-one. But the whole Houston secondary as a whole is probably one of the worst matchups for opposing teams. But I still I can understand. I make the case. I have Troy Franklin as a good upside play. I still like the Jacoby Myers conversation we had earlier, but it does. I think that lends to Troy Franklin there.
All right. Let's get to our next one. Let's see here. Here we go. Sorry. Frosty 126. Keenan Allen or Woody Marks PPR Dave?
I'm way too big of a Keenan Allen fan. I've been drafting him since man invented fire. So, I just, especially in PPR, his floor is just so good. I mean, even on his bad weeks, he's still getting you 10 points. So I like Keenan Allen. Chargers are looking good. He's the 1B, I would say, sometimes the 1A. So give me Keenan Allen.
All right. Let's get to our next one. Scrolling down. If we missed your comment, please throw it back in the chat. We're not trying to do it on purpose. We apologize. Legacy 4496. Start 2. Roma Dunze, Tet McMillan, or Travion Henderson PPR. It's Odunze for me.
You're starting 2 though, so
yeah, 10 McMillan. There we go. Odunze and McMillan, first 2.
Yep.
Did we miss Joseph's question? Is he in here somewhere? Oh, this is the question we were talking about. Do you trade? Actually, I don't know where this question came from, Logs. Who?
That's the question from earlier where he was asking about between Roma Dunze and everybody. So yeah, he
was helping answer their question of who he would play.
Okay, gotcha. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, all right, here we go. Mr. Scamper is in the chat. Half PPR. Monongai Gadsden or Jawan Jennings. Monongai Gadsden would be my order for this one. What about you guys?
Yep.
All right, here we go. The Stephen Cries in the chat. Good morning. Need help picking my second RB spot and my second flex spot in a full PPR matchup this week. Deciding between Bam Knight, Rico Dowdle, Jordan Addison, Kenneth Walker, DJ Moore, Romeo Dobbs. JT, let's start with you.
I like the upside of Dowdle and Bam, but I cannot just sit Kenny Walker. I'm playing Kenny Walker as my RB in my second RB spot. For the flex, that one's a little closer. Man, DJ Moore has not been great. I feel like it should be DJ Moore, but I feel like he hasn't been great this year. I feel like that should be the call, but I'm not super confident about it. It's pretty close between him, Dubs, and Addison. I don't really love any of them this week. I think they're all about in the same spot, so I understand why Steven's having problems figuring this out.
I would go Addison for me. That would be my play.
Would you go Addison? Yeah, he's got the biggest big play possibility. I feel like they're I feel like they're close. I don't know what they're projected for in your league, but they got to all be within like half a point of each other, I would assume.
No. I hate to not ever attack Dallas's defense in all facets. They're second most points allowed to the running back spot. Of course, they're horrific against the pass. I don't love Bam Knight, but of all the other options, I can see just a path of even lesser production than what Bam Knight's floor should be. And so I'm going Bam Knight myself.
These are the weeks where I was just praying Trey Benson was going to be healthy, because this would be a smash Trey Benson week. And I've got Trey Benson everywhere. I'm like, these are the ones you're like, oh, this is when Trey Benson wins me weeks. And of course he's hurt. Of course, this would have been perfect to have Trey Benson.
Yep.
It wouldn't even be a question. It'd be like Trey Benson across the board, start him everywhere if he was in this game.
Oh, that's tricky. Jacoby Brissett over Caleb. It goes back to the exact same thing I was just saying, is how bad of a matchup does Dallas need to be but if it was anybody else besides Cincinnati, I would probably say yes. But even the separation, Dallas is the worst. Cincinnati's like fifth or sixth against quarterback. As bad as Caleb's been from an accuracy standpoint and not really running as much as I had hoped, I still think that I would probably lean Caleb slightly. And
Trey Hendrickson is doubtful for today's game, so he would actually have time to throw the ball in the pocket versus being rushed there.
Mm-hmm.
I would go Caleb as well.
Even with Caleb not playing real great lately, his actual fantasy numbers have not been horrible. I think that's an overthinking it one for me. I think you're overthinking Brissett over Caleb. I think you just play Caleb Williams.
All right, got George Play 01 in the chat. Yes, non-PPR flex. Tyrone Tracy, Travion Henderson. Both you're looking for upside, right? So the real question is it Terrell Jennings or Terrell Jennings there for the Patriots, who's the fourth running back on the?
Well, I mean,
second,
for me,
I
it's
guess
just
now.
going to be he's two. It's going to be Tyrone Tracy, just because I think if there's going to be a running back that I feel more comfortable getting goal line carries, I feel like the Giants won't get too creative. Whereas I could see New England getting a little, I don't know. I don't want to say creative
in their head.
In their head, yeah.
All right, love it. Got Nadir Media back here. Jalen Hurts and Crosby for Jamar Chase. What would you give for Chase? Is there a price? JT, start with the price here in terms of trade value. Like, what would you give up to get Jamar Chase? And I'm assuming he means in a redraft, or maybe he means Dynasty. Nadir, put that please in the.
Yeah, it is gonna say if you could give us, is that I'm guessing you're saying Superflex, not one QB. The only reason I ask is I have a lot of IDP leagues that are one QB, so that would adjust it for me a little bit. So I need to figure out what you're doing there and how many IDP guys are starting. If it's Superflex, high scoring sack total, I still think you might need more for Chase, even though Jalen Hurts should count for more. I think people are a little down on him just because he doesn't throw the ball a ton. And man, Jamar is still so young. You got to add something. I think somebody's going to want either a pick. I'm guessing they're going to want a pick, or they're going to want. Yeah, they're going to want a pick or another playable player there. I think you got to add to that. And the problem is, as an IDP fan, like Jorge will tell you, the high-end guys like a Garrett or Crosby, do they have value? Yes, but it's almost impossible to get people in IDP to take the defensive guys as serious as the offensive guys for equal value. It just rarely happens.
He says Dynasty non-Superflex one quarterback. So right where you're thinking.
Yeah. So in a league like this, I will tell you, and this just to give you a little reference, and this is just one of my leagues. I was desperate in a 1 QB league, which sounds insane, but I was desperate to get a QB. It was killing me in an IDP 1 QB league. I had to trade for Lamar Jackson a couple years ago. The other guy had Hurts, Fields, and Lamar. Traded for Lamar. I gave him a 3rd round pick and Jerry Jeudy for Lamar. So again, quarterbacks in a 1 QB just are not worth as much. I think in a 1 QB, unless the other guy has absolutely no one, you're going to have that quite a bit to get Chase there. I mean, quite a bit. You probably need at least a 1st round pick and maybe another player to get Chase. That's just me looking off the top. I think you need to add at least that.
All right. Let's go to Z Smitty 5001 has a roster spot open. A couple guys that are intriguing on the waiver wire are Josh Downs and Kayshon Boutte. Which would you rather have? He's leaning Josh Downs.
I'm a monster Josh Downs fan. The Steelers have been horrible about the underneath routes. They just cannot stop any short underneath route. I think Josh Downs is going to eat this week. I really do. I took Sutton out. I put Downs in for him. I put Downs in, and I have him in a million leagues, and that's because I'm a Colts fan. But I just think he's going to have a really good week this week. I think the underneath routes is where they're going to eat this week. I think Josh Downs has a really good game. As a better, I'm taking the over on everything Josh Downs this week. So I'm picking up Josh Downs and playing Josh Downs.
All right. Ronnie Daniel 5383. Morning. Good morning to you. Need one full PPR with Swift out. Etienne or David Montgomery? For me, it's Montgomery. Etienne's workload has just been going down and further. I understand he has that receiving upside, but I trust Montgomery more for touchdowns than I do Etienne's PPR upside weighing the touchdown. What about you, Nate? Did you just put on a mustache? Has that been there this entire show?
I didn't put on a mustache.
You have like a fake prop mustache for like Halloween or something going on here? That's you've had that mustache on the entire show?
I don't have it on. It's not. I don't have anything on. It's just my facial hair.
Why am I just noticing that it just stands out so much more right now for some reason? I don't understand.
You know what it is? The dark jersey makes it look darker.
When
he had the red jersey on, it didn't look as dark. It looks darker with the dark jersey.
It's like,
That's hilarious because you're like, you know what? I kind of noticed it, but I was like, oh no, it's fine. It's just like must be the way like this is like his camera is. But it's like it does look a little bit darker. That's
thing.
funny.
it pops.
That's funny.
It definitely. It's like mole, like from Austin
Like, Nate,
Powers.
did you get your hair done?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you do while you were off camera?
What's
Jesus.
different about you all of a
Nothing.
sudden?
Does anybody take ETN in this situation here with this PPR?
I'm playing ETN in a lot of spots, but I'm a mandatory Montgomery guy unless I have like a really good, better option. It's hard for me not to ever start Monty. That's just me personally.
Yeah, Game Face. You know, it says Game Face, but I was watching Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and all I keep saying when I see is like Taser Face. You know the reference I'm giving you? Okay, all right, whatever. Anyhow, Joe Flacco, Bo Nix. I'm still rolling with Nix, given the rushing upside he has there. Joe Flacco. It should be a good game, but we don't know how balanced this offense is going to be. Is Chase Brown just going to, be the focal point of this offense? Whereas Nix, the rushing upside and the passing upside is there. More so the rushing, I would say, in this situation. Is there any pause here, Nate? Do you think you'd go Flacco?
I mean, technically in my rankings, I have Flacco literally one spot ahead of Nix.
Right.
What I want, like Nix on our Fourth and Frame show Wednesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. I have Bo Nix as one of my pass plays, just strictly because the matchup against Houston has been notoriously bad for opposing quarterbacks. But that being said, the Flacco, while I'm not uberly concerned with the shoulder, I still have my reservations that it could lead, and you touched on the rushing upside. So that being said, I'm going to move Nix back up one spot. So now I have Nix over Flacco. So at least I can confidently say that I too would start Nix over Flacco.
All right. Half PPR by Paul, though. 746 win. Shaheed or Brashad Smith. Isn't Shaheed out? Did I not see that? Or is he doubtful?
I don't think he's out that I've seen.
He's questionable. It has
questionable.
not said he's going to play yet. That's one of those I'm keeping an eye on it. If Shaheed plays, I'm playing Shaheed. But if he's out, then I'm putting in Smith right away. So I'm playing Shaheed first, but definitely keep an eye on that because he is questionable, like highly questionable.
Ian Rappaport's most recent one said expected to play, but that was 10 hours ago. So over the course of 10 hours, obviously. But you're right. That game's at 3. So is the Chiefs. So you'll be able to wait to the last minute at least and make that decision based off of who's playing and who's not.
All right. We got,
or if you're playing in one of the leagues where you can use the substitutions, put Shaheed in your lineup and put Brashad Smith as the automatic sub in case he does not play.
Nate's costume changes like Lady Gaga.
Yep.
Moggs, I'm too high for this right now. Love it. Love it. I'm sorry. Aldo, Flacco or Brissett? Flacco for me. Yeah. Anybody disagree? Nope. Okay. K Space 91, Brissett, Mac Jones, or Trevor Lawrence. Pick one QB. Trevor Lawrence for me.
T-Law.
All right. Going to Nadir. My quarterback room is Stafford, Fields, Shuck, and Brosner.
Mac Brosner, rookie out of Minnesota. He is now currently the backup to J.J. McCarthy for the Vikings.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great deep league pickup. If you're in a deep super flex league, I've been picking up Max Brosner everywhere this week and stashing him. So good deep league pickup.
I would definitely try to trade Fields for a better quarterback too than Shuck or Brosner.
Shuck sucks.
First of all, I don't care if it's old English, like SHUCK. There we go. None of this show business. I understand where it's coming from, but it's like people who are named Jeff, but they spell it golf. You know what I mean? It just doesn't work for me. But anyhow, I digress.
Random fact. So I went when I was at Chiefs game last week, I bought one of the proper NFL balls here.
Oh yeah,
It costs way too much money, but
very much. Oh yeah,
$100+. Yeah,
it was like $200. But
cool.
But nevertheless, one thing I noticed, people always talk about the grip making a big difference. I never thought it because I've only ever had like the $80 balls. It is so much easier to spin with the proper grip because I've always struggled being able to spiral. But I noticed it was easier to like spiral and drop it with like
you were throwing that
grip.
ball.
So after the game,
he's like, you had a $200 ball and you're playing with it.
That is for autographs and signing.
It's a Baby Ruth signed baseball. What are you doing?
After the game, we were on the way out, and we were just running routes with people who were like on the way out. Should send some videos. It was fun. But absolutely, it's got scratches all over it. Hey man, you got to buy things to use them. All right, don't just buy things to put them in a showcase. All right.
I agree with that.
Having fun and enjoying it. You know.
Like it's like
I have no problem
who keep them in the boxes. I'm like, what are you doing?
But everything about that says, I know the answer to these questions. One, were you playing on grass surface? No, you were in the parking lot at Arrowhead, chucking the ball around, which is for me not something I would want to do with a $200 ball. But then again, you made the choice to buy a NFL authentic ball at an NFL stadium versus anywhere else, which is an already 100% markup on the ball.
Fair enough.
But after a good game, great game, and I would say over under 6 beers at the game, not tailgate. I don't want to
plead the fifth on that one. Plead the fifth.
No,
smart man.
That's good.
To K-Space's comment here, as far as the choosing between Brissett or Mac Jones or Tila. No, Dallas D is shit. No, you're absolutely right. Raiders isn't so good either. And so when you have, the favorable matchup against quarterbacks and points allowed, wide receivers, tight ends, like there are too many good pieces here, and a track record for Lawrence to pick up to be the guy here, versus Brissett, which is the rationale there. But going back to Tizzy Jaw, start Brian Thomas Jr. or Marv at my flex. He has Nico and Puka as his 1 and 2.
That's Marv. It's not even a question for me. So I mean, even with Hunter out, I still don't fully trust Brian Thomas Jr.
Trust is an
awesome wide receiver room, by the way.
I know, it really
is. It is fantastic.
Yeah. I'm a huge BTJ guy, and I'm playing him everywhere. But I am probably going to hammer every Marv over this week. So I like both of them, and I'm probably going to hammer the both on both of them. I'm going to go over on everything, but I'm probably leaning a little more Marv on this one.
Okay. Let's go to the next question here.
We got a comment here for Charlene. I just because this is giving me PTSD. So remember when we all woke up and Warren was out on that Sunday morning? Yes, I do remember that. I got up and I had to tell my girlfriend to stop talking to me and don't ask me any questions for at least 20 minutes as I try to get Jalen Warren out of like 40 lineups 10 minutes before the game. I mean, my thumbs have never worked so fast trying to get him in and out of lineups when he was out that morning. Oh, that was brutal. I got him out of every lineup but 2. 2 of them, it cut me off right as I was trying to get him out. But let's not have that happen anymore, people. Let's get these outs way in advance so we know when we can make these adjustments.
So K-Space wants to bet whether Brissett is a better call than T-Law. If Brissett outscores T-Law this week, DM me at Jorge B. Edwards. I'll send you a fantasy and fantasy. How about that?
I'll take that bet. Give me the brisket. Man,
he's choosing Brissett over T-Law.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I said T-Law. He likes Brissett instead. Who we also could call Brisket, like Jaquan Brisker, who I like to call Brisket. We could call Brissett Brisket as well. So, yeah, well, that's a little friendly wager there. We can do that.
I'll send you a koozie.
I like that.
And to be honest with you, I'll probably send you a koozie regardless. So just throw it. DM me at Jorge B. Edwards, and I'll see what I can do here.
By the way, coffee mugs. Where's the The fantasy
So
frames ones.
okay. Fun fact: my mother is the only one that I know around here that has a Fantasy and Frames coffee mug. I give all my cups and stuff to everybody else on Fantasy and Frames. So people out there like Nate and JT and other people, they have more Fantasy and Frames gear than I actually do, because I just give it to the people. But I do have. I finally came to mass marketing and got my first Frost Buddy. Love it. Does great. It literally holds every single can. The Frost Buddy. So the gimmick is here that they say you can put whatever bottle or can of drink or beverage that you have in it, and it holds it securely and it keeps it cold for a long period of time. And they're like, oh, there's no way you can fit any can you want or bottle, and it fits it snugly and securely, and it does the trick.
Okay.
Cool.
But I digress. Yes, exactly. It is cool. Let's go here.
But that is clutch if you're going to do good marketing stuff. So, like, you go to the Fantasy Expo, right? And sometimes it's the same stuff at all the stalls. But if you get good quality marketing gear, people will take it. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
For thought.
The deer here made a trade. He said traded Jordan Love for Fields and a 27 first. I actually kind of like that. I'm nervous about Fields long term. I'm also not a gigantic Jordan Love guy as far as fantasy. I think he's much better real life quarterback than he is a fantasy quarterback. And I'm heavy on this 27 draft class. I think this 27 draft class is going to be real good. So I hate that personally. What do you guys think?
That's a little bit too far down the road for me to.
Yeah, I'm not a. I'm not.
I understand it's dynasty, but like I'm thinking 26 right now. I'm not thinking about the draft class or 27. But
see, I've already traded like 90% of my 26 picks away because I like the 25 draft class and I like the 27. So I was just trading guys out and getting out of 26. I looked at it the other day and I was like, I think I have like one pick in all my dynasty leagues in 26 as I trade them all away.
I think this might be the last year we see Fields, even remotely starting role.
That is the big question, right, Dave? It's like they're already trying to bench him with the Jets, and you're like, if you get benched with the Jets and they're awful, like
for Tyrod Taylor, I mean,
they're just. I mean, at some point, it's just over for him, right? And I like Fields, and I think he's been getting a raw deal all around. But at some point, the league just moves on from you, and it's feeling like we're getting dangerously close to that edge for Justin Fields.
Look at Mac Jones, right? So he left he had a good year with the Patriots, started to crumble. Yeah, in Jacksonville, he was doing decent. You can't say he was doing bad. Now look at him with the Niners. I mean, if they sat Purdy for the year, you'd be okay with it, right? I don't think Fields is that guy. He's had opportunities everywhere: Chicago, Pittsburgh, the Jets, and he's been given the opportunity to be the one, and he's just not doing it. I just can't see him magically becoming a stud.
As I'm typing into our private chat, I think that answers all the questions we have so far on the show. So nice. We have hit all the questions. Nate, do you think we should finally get to one of the segments? I figure news and notes is kind of, we've already discussed a lot of the news and notes, or maybe we should just, fuck it. Let's just do news and notes.
Yeah, I'll just here to run through in case anyone who might just recently be joining or haven't kept up with some of the ruled out game time decisions at the quarterback position. Kyler Murray not going to play. That's the important one I would say at quarterback that's either game time or at least decided upon. Running back has quite a bit more. We know Ramondre Stevenson's out. A lot of the Travion Henderson talks. Both Chicago running backs and DeAndre Swift and Roschon Johnson are out. Hence all the Monangai talk. Cam Scatabo was placed on the IR with a gruesome ankle injury, as we all unfortunately probably had to witness in some capacity.
Yeah.
And then in Kansas City, Isaiah Pacheco is out with a sprained MCL, which will mean that Kareem Hunt should see an even more larger role. And Brashard Smith, the aforementioned on many of the conversations, will have a role in some capacity. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was also activated to the active roster today, which probably means nothing. But then again, it is football. It could mean something. I don't I just think he's a body personally at this point. Any of those, any other names at running back that I overlooked that would be important to talk about?
No, I think we've covered.
Hassan
Especially
Haskins place on IR, I guess.
Darn.
Alvin Kamara is kind of a game time decision, but he's trending towards playing. So I mean, wide receiver has some more impacts, I guess.
I thought he was cleared. I might have. I thought I saw news that Kamara is good to go.
Yeah, I think the whole time he was trending towards being good to go, but I didn't see anything change tag wise. But I think he's still, at last I saw, which was late last night, early this morning, was expected to play. So until it's going to start, I guess who knows what in the hell's going on.
We may have had this conversation, but Tyrone Tracy. I mean, what are we expecting about the Giants' offense as a whole? Because I feel like Cam Scatterboo made defenses respect the run game, which opened up the passing lane and also allowed Dart to be able to be elusive as a runner. Do we feel that Tyrone Tracy gives the Giants as a whole that opportunity?
I think it's hard to compare Scatterboo to Tracy and say, you lose one and then you're going to just insert running back. Like who do you think they are? The Shanahans? Like you just can't throw in a body back there and expect the same type of production. The 49ers are middle of the pack in terms of points allowed, so that could swing in either direction. So I don't think there's like an outstanding matchup for Tracy this week. If anything, I see Dart taking more of the rushing capacity. Not saying he's going to get more attempts than Tyrone Tracy, but I think he's going to be a little bit more efficient with his rushing upside there.
Yeah, I don't see the immediate like absolute smash, but I think he's a safe RB2 that especially if you lost somebody, you can fill in.
Right.
All right, Kareem Hunt or Tyrone Tracy in your RB2?
I would take Kareem Hunt.
I would too.
You got Balake. Aha! Yeah. I got it. Nice.
There you go.
Aaron Balake. Love it. Cortland Sutton or Ted McMillan, full PPR. It's McMillan. Yep. And then Nadir Media. Jesse Bates is questionable. I need a pickup. Man, that is, where you should go for pickup suggestions? fantasyandframes.com and read our plays and fades at IDP, as well as our waiver wire article. Plug. So check that out. And if you still have questions, come back and we will answer that. And I'll have one ready to go for you. And then we got another comment here from Moggs. Michael Carter or Brashad Smith. Is Carter even activated to the 53-man roster, or is he still on the practice squad? That would be.
I think that answers your question, right?
Yeah, I guess that's a fair.
You're trying to work out if he's even activated.
Yeah,
how confident are you in him outperforming Smith?
It's gross, Moggs, but I think Rashad Smith would be.
And I'm almost positive Carter was promoted back to the.
Okay.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, he actually worked with the starters late in the week.
That's so crazy.
Is
it just like a contract thing? Just like let's let you go, but bring you back at a lower cost? Like I don't understand what that. I don't know. I don't get these teams sometimes.
I hate that scenario. In that, there's a lot of that. We can look at. There's 3 or 4 teams, maybe not in the exact same scenario of what you were just saying, but talk about Arizona. And there's a case that in this specific week, if it was Bam Knight, Michael Carter, or Amari DiMercato, who all 3 should play in this game. All 3, I don't want to necessarily say I feel super confident with. Look at Kansas City. Similar scenario. You would expect it to be Kareem Hunt, then Brashad Smith, and then a collection of either Elijah Mitchell and or Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Elijah Mitchell's name, again, lost in the shuffle, but I don't think it would shock anybody if he sees just enough of a volume to take some of the workload off Kareem Hunt, that it would just be irritating. It's left and right, constant. These offenses in the NFL with the running back rooms are getting kind of gross on a would you rather basis.
It's not the same. In the mid 2010s, it was find a 3 down back. It was your guy who's just going to pound the rock for 20, 25 times. every now and then you get guys like JT. I mean, but more often than not, most teams are moving away from that. You know, I mean, you've got Saquon, you've got JT, you got CMC. I mean, I'm trying to think who off the top of your head is just a clear cut. I am the guy.
I mean, at times it can be Derrick Henry, but even that now. So with the injury,
we saw a lot of Justice Hill the other day.
We've seen Keaton Mitchell. I think it's a philosophical decision as well. If you look in in LA, the Rams, regardless of how deep their running back room is, historically runs with one guy, which is why I love when you find handcuffs on teams. If you're ever looking for a handcuff guy on waivers, and you can find one of those teams that runs exclusively a 70% running back percentage, that's the guy. But there's a couple more questions in the chat before we get too far in a tangent, I guess, with some of the running backs, because Ryan has one here I'll throw up that is a standard league. And so which two running backs would you start between RJ Harvey, Bill, Chuba, Kareem Hunt, Travion Henderson? He's leaning Kareem Hunt and Travion Henderson. So based on that, does anybody have anybody besides those two that they would start over one of the aforementioned that he would choose?
I'm out on Krosky Merritt, man. I'm out on Krosky Merritt. Honestly, if he's had one or two half decent games, but I don't think he's a legit 3-down guy.
Jorge, did you say you would start someone over Hunt or Henderson?
I would, if I'm leaning for the upside, whether it's Krosky Merritt, Chuba, or Henderson, it would be Harvey.
But there's Harvey over Henderson?
Correct.
Okay.
I'd go Harvey over Krosky. Honestly, I'd put Krosky Merritt on the bottom of that list. Henderson, I hope he does well. I think so does the whole fantasy football community. We just don't know. So I go Harvey and Hunt.
I am begging.
I'm still swinging for the fences with Henderson. I'm going Hunt and swinging for the fences with Henderson.
I am begging one person to add to watching the show or stop watching the show, because we are at 666 total views right now.
Oh yeah,
666. Not a fan of the number. I don't know, and it's on Sunday too. 667. Yes, thank you very much. Whoever just jumped in watching the stream.
All right,
6-7.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, there we go.
I thought that's where you were going with it.
No, well, it is now. Thank you. Be right back, guys.
It is literally 670 in terms of viewers. But so with Rashid Shaheed also in Moggs' starting lineup, Xavier Hutchinson or Darius Slayton. Now we're getting to the gross portion of some of these questions, which I love. All right, JT, you and me. I'm gonna lean Slayton. Yeah, I don't love it. I don't know any given week. Like Christian Kirk's back, Nico. You throw in a potential for if they want to move one of the two out, or Jalen Noel is, I think, more likely to see, I don't know, a higher target share than Xavier Hutchinson, but I don't know. You may feel otherwise.
I like Xavier Hutchinson, but with the bad matchup going against Denver and all those guys back, I agree with you. I think there's just a ton of guys to move around there in Houston. Slayton gets the advantage of that. The Giants really just are struggling to find wide receivers. I mean, we saw they've been trying to get Julia Hyatt back in the game. Yeah, he's not been anything. So I think you're going to see a whole lot of Wan'Dale Robinson. And then I think you're going to see Slayton as their number 2 option, with Theo Johnson kind of getting in the mix. There's a 3. So I'm probably playing Slayton. I just think it's safer. Hutchinson, if you're playing Hutchinson, you're almost got to have a touchdown out of him, because there's no way he's getting 10 targets. There's no way. Not this week. So I'm going Slayton on this one.
Yeah, I don't see a target percentage high enough. Slayton, while I don't think is going to be a gangbuster week, it sure seems a lot safer. Moggs also wants to know between Walker and Charbonnet, or sub one or both out for DJ Moore, Kendrick Bourne, Parker Washington, Kincaid, or AJ Barner. Boy, I guess the first question is are you comfortable enough starting both Seattle running backs. And while I usually hate that, is it choose your adventure, pick, of the two, how do you not choose wrong? You're kind of hedging your bet when you play both. But I guess start with,
You might actually be imploding yourself, because if Seattle has a bad day, those two might just get nothing. I mean, we saw it with Bijan and Algier last week. I mean, they both just sucked, right? So, I wouldn't say it's hedging your bet per se. For me, I think the hedging the bet is maybe picking your poison of Walker or Charbonnet. I'm personally going Walker, and then going for another one. Like, I'm probably leaning towards DJ Moore. He's still technically the one. He's going to get his targets. So, I'm going Walker and DJ Moore.
Yeah, and that's...
I got to agree with that. And no Luther Burden for the Bears this week. So I got to go Walker, DJ Moore. And again, I'm a Sharps hater. I like Kenny Walker so much better. It drives me insane that they take him out. And why I like the upside of Parker Washington this week, I think we say it all the time. Don't overthink it. Play DJ Moore over Parker Washington. You got to play him over him. I mean, if you bite the bullet and DJ Moore has a bad game, at least you paid the best player. If Parker Washington does nothing, you're going to just absolutely kick yourself for playing him over DJ Moore.
Yeah, to be fair, if Parker Washington gives you the points that you kind of project for DJ Moore, I think we all consider that somewhat of a success. I think it's our floor is 0 for Parker Washington, or at least next to nothing. You're just hoping for the excitement of having him in your lineup when he does catch, 5 balls for 60 yards or something. You get 11 points out of a more of a desperation play than a must be necessary. And that does go towards a lot of the other wide receivers that are out this week, or at least game time decisions. You touched on Luther Burden, obviously an important one. Calvin Ridley's out. Ricky Pearsall again. Travis Hunter placed on the IR. I assume most people know that. Terry McLaurin's out. Rashid Shaheed trending in one direction or the other. And Cooper Kupp is, I don't think, it sure sounds like everything I've read, the tea leaves are saying Cooper Kupp will miss the game, but I don't think it's been defined quite yet. And we'll keep an eye on that for everybody else. But before we do, Blurpy wants to know, you have to pick 3. Oh, good. 3 of the 4. So I guess who are you not playing between BTJ, Chris Olave, Debo, and Diggs?
Diggs. Easy.
Yeah.
Debo.
Easy for me. Diggs. Gone.
No, I think Diggs feast. He's still getting looks every week. I mean, I think he's gotten 7 targets is his lowest in the last 5 weeks. I like Diggs. Olave is the smash for me. It's close between BTJ and Debo, but I'm probably leaning Debo. He's just not been the Debo that we've been used to.
He's shockingly the wide receiver 20 on the season. Do you believe that on a per game basis? That's the problem. On a per game basis, gotcha. But you're right. I don't disagree. I think I had higher expectations for Debo, but I'm leaning Diggs to it only because I don't trust that he's not fully healthy. When healthy,
also we need to look it up. I have seen some signs that said Diggs was going to be out today. I don't have 100%. I haven't found it, but I thought I saw something that says Diggs is likely out today. So that needs to be in consideration in that as well. So need to check on that because I think Diggs might miss today's game.
Oh, that would be.
Last I saw Friday, he's not on the injury report, but
yeah.
Ooh, okay, I saw somebody earlier today said that they thought he was possibly out. So I could be misinformed there.
And that he got a full, and that's the thing. He did practice in full on Thursday, but I mean, would anybody be shocked? We've seen plenty of players actually have practice reports that don't, co-align or line up with the actual production. But I'm still concerned. I'm more concerned, even if obviously if Diggs doesn't play, he would be out. But I don't know. I don't want to say that I think it's all the lingering injuries that have caused that drop. But as Dave, you pointed out, prior to being banged up, he was as startable as anybody in the NFL. I mean, he was legitimately an easy person that I missed on early in draft season, and later in draft season, I kind of came full circle on Diggs and realized, hey, he's another X amount of months removed from the surgery. He's in an offense that he should be the only true weapon. Keyshawn Boutte, as good as Boutte has been, he's doing all this on like a 12% target share. So the likelihood that that's sustainable is not great, but you still have to take what you've seen. And that's at some point when Diggs is healthy, he'll be back there. But
I don't think anyone, I mean, including myself, thought the Patriots would be doing this good. No one saw them being second best team in the AFC right now at 6-2. So, the offense is, I don't think you were wrong passing on Diggs because it was a little bit more risky at the time.
Yeah. Thank you. I need that support. That makes me feel better. It's one reason I do this show is I know Dave's going to come on, support me, except for me saying the word granted too often, which you haven't heard once today, I don't think. Or maybe you haven't. It's just built in. I do the wardrobe change to throw off my my vocabulary idiosyncrasies. But all right. Alvin Kamara, Ken Walker. Ooh, see, much closer in my eyes because I think Kenneth Walker is in the better situation. I hate Zach Charbonnet for the apparent reasons that JT's given, and well, we all have. I even watched a video. There was a person who, perfect timing for JT talking about his Charbonnet hate, where he's like playing a video game, and it's Kenneth Walker breaks 2 tackles, gets down, or is running to the end zone, and the coaching staff is like, imagine like if he had the green dot and they were talking his ear, and they're like, down, K-Dub or K9, get down. And so he like takes a dive at the 1, and they're like, he's like, all right, they're taking a knee. That makes sense. Like internally talking to himself. And then you hear him on the headset say, all right, put Sharps in. And Charbonnet runs in for a 1-yard touchdown for no reason whatsoever. And it's like, that's the type of bullshit that coaching staff has done to Kenneth Walker. But that being said, long way around. Sorry, Muggs. Kenneth Walker or Alvin Kamara for you, Dave?
It's Kenny Walker. I can't trust Kamara and the Saints right now. Yeah. They're just looking so bad. They don't need to run the ball. So they're stacking the box with Kamara. He's a bit banged up. It's Walker.
Yeah. And I'm right there. I think so, at least. Hey, Andy.
Hello. Good morning.
How are you, bud?
I'm good. I'm nervous. This is a big week for my Bears, so I'm terrified, actually.
You should. I was gonna say I didn't know which spot you were nervous for. If you had multiple pieces of the Chiefs backfield, or you had multiple pieces of the Patriots backfield, or the other 13 teams that have choose your designation. I would love to go through each one and have to make you choose between.
Actually, I do have a fair amount of Travion Henderson, but I'm not worried about it. I'm not nervous about it because I know it's going to go poorly. I know it. What are we worried about? Of course, that's going to be the wrong.
Andy, we've answered a million Henderson questions, and I was like, I'm just sucking up the hopium this morning, going like, this is the one. This is the week that all my Travion Henderson shares finally hit, and I just am fully ready to be disappointed.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know what to say. It's good process, right? Like, it makes all the sense in the world. This should work. He should be the guy they lean on. Dearness Johnson, 120 yards incoming. Absolutely.
Exactly. Well, and pivot over under 25 touches somehow for Travis Homer in Chicago. Like that type of chaos that's going to ensue when we all think like this next question. Rage wants you to rank these guys. I think they also
kind of like, I will say, I think the Bears kind of like Britton Brown too.
Yeah, Britton Brown, another name.
He was really frisky in the preseason, so I'd be a little surprised if he's not involved.
Yeah. Well, we'll start with an easier question before we get into the Britton Browns and Terrell Jennings of the worlds for you to try to analyze and break down. But if it's in a full point PPR and you're ranking Devontae Adams, Kamani Vidal, Kamanon guy, Tucker Kraft, and Trey McBride, a lot of good names. You get good names. We get garbage. No offense to everybody that gave us your team. Sorry.
Viewership's gone down right now.
So do we assume that this is a league that doesn't actually have a starting tight end spot? That this is just
that's what I'm wondering. Yeah.
Because this is crazy. Because you wouldn't you wouldn't just have Brock Bowers and Trey McBride. Maybe he's got Tyler Warren and Trey McBride. I don't know. I'm assuming they don't actually start a tight end and this is a flex. That's insane.
It is.
I'd start the two. I mean, it's kind of boring, but I would have the two running backs at the top. I'm an old fantasy analyst. We rank running backs the highest. I mean, they're the two guys here who have a shot at 20 touches are Kamani Vidal number one, and then Kyle Monangai, and then I'd probably go Devontae, McBride, Kraft. But my God, I'd love to know your settings.
Yeah, I would like to have that team personally, because most mine do not have the maybe Kyle Monangai in a league, but that's usually the best option I have.
I was gonna say some of the lineups we've already talked about today. I'll just take that whole question and I'll just start all those guys compared to some of the ones we've talked about today. Yeah. That would be a pretty good starting lineup. Just take that whole group.
Mm-hmm. And so, Andy, this next question from Aiden is a fair one. We've talked a lot about Cortland Sutton and the matchup against Houston, and he's scared to start him. But this is the pivot is Chimere DK, and he's 2-6, terribly unlucky. I mean, do you revert your luck by going DK in this situation?
Every time I field one of these Titans questions, I'm just always a little bit like, what are you guys watching? Like, I get it in Dynasty. Like, go get DK, go get Iamaner. I don't want anything to do with the Titans offense right now. And I don't even think Calvin Ward looks bad exactly. Like, you can see a good quarterback in there. That's just going to take time. I don't want anything to do with it. I mean, I get the hesitancy with Sutton. The Texans are a good defense against whatever you want to do. There's only a couple of those out there. But I'd still play him over DK.
Yeah, it's the same kind of conversation seems to revolve around a lot of these other scenarios. Is that we had one earlier. If you got the production, if you got Cortland Sutton's floor out of DK this week, you would see that as, even if they had the same scoring, you would consider yourself a success by starting DK, who scored 9 points, versus a failure if you started Sutton, who got 9 points. And I think we want to win.
There's like a certain type of fantasy manager that's like that too, right? Mm-hmm. Like if I get the boring line out of a rookie, that's so much better than getting, than getting a slightly better line out of a veteran. I don't know. It does something for people.
It does. And I think that's a common thing. I mean, I'm probably guilty, not as much as others, just because I'm like you, Andy. I'm an old guy who just said, I didn't have the internet to tell me who to do. We had to call CDM Sport, write it into CDM Sports and put our lineup in and hope that they switch it out through the mail. Thank God we don't do that now. You imagine the post office would be bludgeoned by the amount of people that didn't get their postage for trying to switch out Daniel Jones for Drake May in this particular instance. But there's a quarterback question. If you're choosing, are you leaning May or Daniel Jones? JT, I know you're, as a Colts fan, do you sway Daniel Jones over Drake May?
The Steelers' defense has been really bad, but I still think I'm playing Drake May. This week. I've got Daniel Jones right there with May in a bunch of leagues, like Drake May, Darnold, Daniel Jones, and I'm like, who am I playing all these? I think I'm leaning May at home, though. Even with the high scoring, I think JT eats. The Steelers can't stop the run. I think it's going to be more of an underneath. He's going to dump it off to downs type of day. So I think he's going to be really efficient, but I don't know if he's going to have huge upside. I see JT having another big game. I think Drake May has a chance to rock it today. So I'm taking Drake May slightly over Daniel Jones.
Maybe it's just the fact that this is Big Bill's guy, that he just doesn't want to recognize Drake May as an every week starter right now. Yep. But I mean, I feel like the only reasonable open question that existed around Drake May entering last week was that he really hadn't seen a great defense, right? Maybe we thought Buffalo was going to be a great defense, but they have not been. Like he'd crushed some really friendly matchups, but man, when he did what he did to the Browns, when he just delivered his usual Drake May line against the Browns, who great defense that has a game wrecker who did everything he possibly could to wreck the game. And Drake May still finishes with like 280 and 3 and 50 rush. I mean, you just got to start Drake May the rest of the way.
I believe I did see that correct, guys. That's the first time ever a player has had 5 sacks in a losing effort. I think if
right.
I heard that. Oh, it shouldn't be. I can't believe that happened. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you get 5 sacks from one player on the defensive side, your offense should be able to do enough. But it is the Cleveland Browns. And
I won a best ball IDP league where I had so many injuries on offense. I had 3 zeros on offense in a best ball league. I had 3 zeros out of offensive players, and I won because of Myles Garrett scored 60 for me.
Oh, insane. That's helpful. That is insane. Good. Well, Dave, we'll get you and Andy into it. The normal questions that we expect to see, the Samaje Perine or Kenneth Gainwell of the world questions.
You leave the gems for me, thanks.
It's safer. It's safer. No one wants to answer the questions of, Cortland Sutton versus maybe not, DK, but 2 marginal names. This is your maybe, or are you not? Because Samaje Perine has been useful the last couple weeks.
I just don't see Perine as a bruiser like he used to. I mean, he's as much of a vet as you can be. I think they only use him if they have to. Gainwell, I mean, that 1 week where he was the starter showed RB1 potential, and that's the upside you can get out of Kenny Gainwell. So for me, I'm leaning Gainwell on this one.
Andy, how's your Bears run D?
Not good. It got fixed is a little bit strong, but they were better after the bye. Like early in the season, you would have just said, "Oh man!" I think after a month, the Bears were giving up over 6 yards per carry, hadn't stopped anyone. But they've done all they could after the bye to fix it. Of course, the thing about this matchup, though, is that it's got to be all hands on deck to cover Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. And I would assume that the run game is an afterthought for them. I mean, it has to be, right? So I wouldn't be shocked if Chase Brown has a day. I think he's a little bit underranked this week. But, there's actually a lot of sketchy running backs with very friendly matchups. So I understand slotting Brown, 10, 11, 12. But it also wouldn't shock me if Chase Brown was a top 5 running back in this.
Good. And I'll move Chase Brown up too. We have a lot of Illinois conversation today. It's been a great day on the Fantasy and Frames podcast to talk about great Illini, former Illini players in their heyday. Chase Brown has looked much better. I will say, I think I believe we even had a conversation a few weeks ago about the potential for acquiring Chase Brown, or do you sell Chase Brown? And the people that acquired him, probably for pennies on the dollar by comparison, are reaping those rewards. Speaking of reaping some rewards, their taxi squad, for people that aren't real familiar with like a Dynasty league, you have a taxi squad of players that you can throw in that you don't have to start right away. Now, here media wants to know, are there any rookie deep sleepers for your taxi squad that any one of you guys would have any recommendations for? I'm not the biggest Dynasty aficionado to really give super in-depth answers, but I know that you guys are well-versed in all facets. JT, do you have any that stand out to you as being the big Dynasty
There's
guy?
A couple guys to me. It depends on your league and who might be available. So I'm thinking, if you're asking me deep, I'm figuring you're like guys that are possibly on the waiver wire. Some of you could pick up, some of you could stash. My favorite guy is LaQuint Allen for the Jags. I think he has a really, really nice receiving profile coming out of Syracuse. He was one of my favorite guys. I think he still can work in there, especially if Etienne is gone in the future here. I think there's a chance he works his way in to that third down role there. So he's a guy I want to stash. I talked about him briefly earlier, but Max Brosner for the Vikings, back up to J.J. McCarthy right now with the Wentz injury, rookie out of Minnesota. I've been grabbing him everywhere in the last week and stashing him on taxis. Now, for some people, there are dynasty leagues like if you pick up a guy and he wasn't on taxi at the beginning of the year, you can't move him there. But you can maybe stash him on deeper in your roster. I do have leagues where you can pick up guys and move them onto the taxi as long as they're a rookie and they never got pulled off. You can't pick them up and move them there. So just for that little caveat, Rosner's a guy I want to pick up. LaQuinn Allen, I highly doubt he's out there unless it's a shorter league. But if for some insane reason somebody doesn't have Pat Bryant for the Broncos at wide receiver, another Illinois guy, it's got to keep the theme going. You got to have Pat Bryant. You got to go get Pat Bryant. If for some reason he's out there, he shouldn't be, but if for some reason he's out there, he's a guy you got to go grab.
If you have a league that has the term taxi squad, most likely, and that's tricky. And I'll tell you what,
he could have been drafted. I am in some leagues that are like super short lineups, and if they're IDP, sometimes they're not very deep as far as like the bench, and so you do sometimes have some of those guys floating because people have to they get injuries, they got to pick up somebody, they got to move guys around, and occasionally sometimes those drop. He shouldn't be out there, but I was just trying to think of some guys off the top of my head. Maybe if you're not in a league where people aren't paying that close attention, maybe they skipped out on him. But those are guys that I'm a big fan of.
If you want to reach out to us on Twitter, I'm sure we'll answer any more of the Taxi Squad questions you may have.
Yeah, you can always hit me up
this week.
Orange. I do Taxi Squad. I do Dynasty Deep stuff all the time. I can give you a full list of dudes when I actually have them in front of me and looking at them. I can probably give you a full list of dudes that I'd be looking to pick up or people I'd be looking to stash. Especially if you're looking at IDP. I have a ton of rookie IDP taxis I would be stashing depending on what your league looks like.
One other guy who's probably, maybe he's not quite in the Pat Bryant category. Bryant was probably drafted in any league that has a taxi squad. He hasn't done anything yet, but I always think Jalen Lane looks awesome.
Yeah.
I think every time he touches the ball, that guy might score, and nothing's happened yet. So I might just be wrong. But I think he has a pretty clear role post Debo too. So he's probably gone. He was probably taken in your league, but that's just one of those rookies that I think, has not actually done a thing yet, but every time he touches the ball, I think he will.
And that's one of the things that I would say it's viable in a lot of those formats is, take a shot. If it's a taxi squad, who cares if the person hasn't done anything yet? You take the shot on them, and if it doesn't work out, so be it. But Travion Henderson, this is a tricky one that when you have all three again scenarios that should, coulda, woulda. Travion Henderson, Rico Dowdle, Bam Knight. I guess you're starting two. So who are you not starting? Whoever has a.
Yeah, so this is one where obviously there is a path for all of these guys to fail, right? we all agree.
Not for success, for failure.
Yeah, it looks too good for Bam Knight right now. I'd play him. I get it. It's the Cowboys. You got to do it. But they could easily pull the rug out from us, and it could be Michael Carter again. That wouldn't shock me. But I would play Bam Knight here, and I'd play Rico because I just think Rico has looked awesome, and I know it's a difficult matchup, but you have an opportunity here to avoid the coming Travion Henderson disaster, and so I think I would take it.
I'm going upside with Henderson here. I mean, I'm just hopeful, to be honest. It's just more living in hope than anything. Bam Knight, I mean, the best performance we saw out of him this year was like 12 rushes for 34 yards, and he fell in the end zone. So
it is a pure bet on the Cowboys.
It is absolutely.
It has
absolutely
nothing to do with Bam Knight. Yep.
It's just he's had a handful. I mean, even with the Jets, he had a handful of opportunities being the one, and he's never done terrible, but he's never really blown your socks off, right? So I think he's got a safe floor. But if you need the upside, I mean, we've seen what Dowdle can do. So I'm trusting Rico, and I'm risking it with Henderson.
Yeah, I think any one of us could spend 2 minutes talking about how Travion can fail, how Rico can fail, and how Bam Knight can fail. Not succeed, because we want to stay, negative when it comes to building up the egos of these running backs. They don't need a bigger head than they've already gotten. But yeah, just know that whoever it is that you sit will 100% be the one that gets the lion's share of the workload and blows up. That's story as old as time. Big Fail has a sneaky flex, guys. JMO, Kayshon Boutte, Torrey Horton. Has there been any change to the Cooper Kupp news today as of yet? I haven't seen anything more. I think he's going to be out, but I don't want to choose. So, I mean,
I have not seen any optimism on Cooper Kupp.
Perfect.
It sure seems like he's going to be out. Yeah.
is that all year or just this week as far as the optimism for Cooper Kupp goes? What do you guys think, JT, if you had to choose one between JMO, Kayshon Boutte, or Torrey Horton?
I'm probably taking Boutte because I like May. I think I know the percentage hasn't been there, but I like the upside of him. Torrey Horton, I like going forward. If Cooper Kupp misses significant time, and just if you're in a dynasty league, I like Horton. I just think he has a shot to really take over that role next to JSN. So I really like Torrey Horton upside. But if I'm playing this week, I'm taking Boutte in this spot.
So I'm going to go JMO on this. If you need upside, Jameson has that huge upside. Not to sound like a broken record, but his floor is 0. Just go in being aware of that.
It really does feel like they've come very close to saying that they intend to try to get Williams going. Whatever, wanting to get a good player going is, everybody's going to give lip service to that. It's another thing to actually do it. But I guess I agree with that. But I don't hate the idea of starting Boutte here. Can I just read Drake May's stats on deep attempts this year? It's crazy.
Yes.
He's 18 for 23 on deep attempts. That's 78.3% completion percentage on balls traveling 20 plus yards downfield. Obviously, a lot of that is to Kayshon Boutte. He's got 6 touchdowns, no interceptions, and a perfect passer rating. He is leading the NFL in completion percentage, and his completion percentage on deep throws has actually been better than his overall completion percent. It's wild. It's a wild
people who are
season.
catching those deep balls is Pop Douglas and Kayshon Boutte. That's the crazy part.
Yeah.
It's not. You don't have like Devontae Adams and Puka or something.
Also, those deep balls are not traveling like 22 yards downfield. Like he's it's not a lot of deep attempts, but they're going 50 yards downfield. Like this is a crazy season.
He's
it's an unreal stat. That was my favorite thing about him coming into the draft. I was like, I watched a pretty good amount of him at North Carolina. I was like, and for Josh Downs being his best wide receiver that he played with at North Carolina and being an underneath guy, you're like, when he did throw the ball deep, you're like, dang, he is like got a really accurate, nice deep ball. So I love the fact that he threw the ball deep in college and looked really good doing it with, just like it, New England, pretty subpar wide receivers most of his college career.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Kyle Sieber. So is there such thing as overkill on a team? And if you're picking a matchup, don't get me wrong, this is probably one that would be a good matchup to have in Josh Allen, Khalil Shakir, Matt Prater, Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, and Kareem Hunt. I think it's safe to say that it could go okay. It could go rough, I guess. But, I mean, what's the point total in this game? 50? I've got to imagine. Pretty close to that.
I think
52.5.
I think it is overkill because you one of them might pop off, maybe 2, but throwing a 10-team parlay out there is not always a solution, right?
It
isn't. I thought that was the solution. 10-team parlay.
Yeah,
you die.
Always the answer.
This is one of those questions where it's terrible process if you're starting even 2 Raiders, right?
Right.
But I don't know if you're starting 3 Bills and one of them's a kicker, fine. If you're starting, if you're gonna start multiple players from the same, especially a running back and multiple receivers from the same team, it better be the Chiefs or the Bengals or not very many other teams, but it's got to be one of those squads that can get to 30 in any given week.
Yeah, there's not a ton of those teams out there that you can. We talked about the Lions earlier. I don't want to have. I'd take Amon-Ra and Jahmyr Gibbs, but if you threw in someone like Jameson Williams, you knew that the upside, you're either going to shoot for 20 out of Jameson Williams, which won't come at a cost of Amon-Ra, which is a nice thing. They're not going to cannibalize each other too terribly much, unless, like you said earlier, when they played against the Chiefs, what they were doing with Jameson Williams was perfect. It was like little 11-yard A-dot type passes, not these 17 to 18-yard attempts, which was atrocious. And was it the Chiefs? Yeah, I guess I think that was the game. But still, I'm optimistic. And no, is it overkill? We'll see. It's tricky. Alex needs 3 in full point PPR. And so they've got a lot of people telling him Henderson is a must start. Other people telling him I should sit him. So stuck. So we each 3, or you 3, because I'll stay out. So it's a consensus. And now of the 3, so it's Henderson, Diggs, Wandale, Dowdle, T. Higgins. Sounds to me like Dowdle's been one that you guys are all in agreement of, or to some extent. I don't know who the other 2 would be. Andy, I'll let you start. You're giving us 3. Is Travion going to fit into your top 3 here?
Yeah, I'm definitely playing Dowdle. I want to be pretty proactive with the Chicago-Cincinnati game. Obviously, you'd rather have Jamar Chase, but I'll still take T. Higgins to find the end zone. And I think I would go Travion Henderson. I'd be bracing myself for disappointment, but do I really think Dearness Johnson and Jennings are going to split that backfield? They shouldn't. We're really going to learn how little they trust Travion this week, and I realize that Henderson has certainly been outside the circle of trust over pass protection issues of all things. But man, I mean, it should be a Henderson week, so I'm gonna go there. I'm bracing myself for that to go horribly wrong, but I would go Henderson, Dowdle, and Higgins.
See, I'm going. If you're looking, here's what you look. If you're looking for floor, I'm going to go Henderson, Diggs, and Dowdle. Those guys are going to give you a safe, comfortable floor. Diggs is probably good for 6 catches for 80 yards. If maybe he falls in the end zone, who knows? Upside, I mean, you can shoot for the stars with Wandale. I worry about this Giants offense now. I think we saw flashes of brilliance for a minute, but I feel like they're just reverting to the Giants that we've all grown to know and love. The likely 4-13 Giants. But yeah, Henderson, I want to take the risk on him. I think Henderson is going to perform today, and I've been a Henderson hater all season, but this is his week. So floor, I'm going those guys, because T. Higgins, he's performing. I know he scored in 2 weeks in a row, but one was like a 44-yard catch, the other was a 50-something yard catch. It's he's great on the deep ball, but you can't rely on him catching them.
That is the epitome of what a crazy year we're living in, is when you say you trust Travion Henderson with the floor, and I immediately go, yeah, it does seem like a safe play, but yet if you look at it in half-point scoring, his best weekly finish ever has been 25. And even last week when he saw the second most touches, he was still the RB 35 on the week. But yet I agree with you, which is so stupid of me.
He's never been the one.
I know exactly. I want it to be. I want it to be, and yet I still feel ick about it. JT, last but not least, anybody else stand out of that group that you would highly recommend?
I probably am the one person that likes Wandale Robinson all the time. I've got him on a million leagues. He's just super consistent. So I'm playing Wandale. 5 catches, 70 yards. I mean, he's not going to blow you away, but you're looking at a possible. You're expecting double digits for him. So I'm playing Wandale there. I'm playing Dowdle, and I'm going T. Higgins. You think he's going to get a big one? If I'm going shooting for the moon, I am probably taking out Dell and playing Henderson, just praying that he has a monster game. And I know I've been saying I'm playing Henderson everywhere all morning. I've been saying I'm playing Henderson everywhere, and I usually am. But in that situation with those guys, I'm probably playing the safe floor of, I think Dowdle has a nice floor. I think Wandale has a nice floor, and I think T is going to be in the mix, because I think that's going to be a little bit of a shootout in that Bears game. So I think you're going to get T there. Most situations I'm playing Travion today, but in that situation, I probably not. But I'd trade out Dowdle or Wandale if I'm like shooting for the moon, going, can Travion give me 100 yards rushing assistant? But it's total hopium with Travion at this point.
Hey, Exactly.
So, like 2015, when Steven Jackson was with the Falcons, everyone had hope for Devontae Freeman. He did nothing for the first 3 weeks, roughly, I think. When he got that opportunity, when Jackson went down, he became not only an RB1, like I think the RB1 for weeks. I think we see that out of Henderson. He's a great dual threat running back. He just needs volume. He's not going to get it done.
Should happen.
On 9
It absolutely should happen. Travius Henderson should be great this week. They should feed him. He should have a monster game. I still believe in the talent. I just can't believe they're not getting him more involved. It is like, like you said, it's like it should happen. He should have a monster game, and he should be like, okay, Travion's not a questionable starter. You're starting him every week from now on the rest of the year. That's what should happen. But we know how fast it works.
Exactly. So
I mean, I will say he did. He did play his way out of the circle of trust. Like, I understand why he's in this situation. He was the back from this rookie class who was supposed to be able to pass protect, and he, first month of the season looked awful. And you can't, I understand why he wasn't getting run early in the year after which game was it with all the holding penalties and he was getting the holding penalties after blowing the assignment. I get why he wound up in this situation. It wasn't really until last week that he broke anything. So I understand why we're here. But I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you on the opportunity ahead of him.
It's just taken, them to basically have to lose the one person ahead of them that they are left with no other choices besides the aforementioned
two. They lost
two.
Gibson too.
Yes,
they were
exactly.
Gibson ahead of him.
Yes, correct. Probably more important, equally as important, losing Gibson, because then at least we had a viable answer for, Gibson was a wide receiver, in college, and he was a running back. So he does have that.
True.
We talk ourselves into, I can understand why, versus, he just wasn't good at what they saw every day in practice and every day in games and the limited opportunities, and he never excelled with it. Half-point PPR, guys. Keenan Allen, Khalil Shakir, Kareem Hunt. Tricky. Andy, half-point PPR?
I actually believe pretty fully in Keenan Allen. I've loved him this year, and I was wrong coming into the season on him. Absolutely way too low. This is one of those questions where I need the right answer to be Kareem Hunt. I have put myself in a situation where it would benefit me if Kareem Hunt is the right answer to this question, because I'm starting him in an uncomfortable number of places. I hope that's right. But if I had Keenan Allen in those leagues, I'd be playing him over Hunt.
I think I might even have it in the exact order listed. Hunt and Shakir. I like Shakir's matchup with the Chiefs playing so much too high safety, and Khalil Shakir, similar to like Wandale. I think that their stat lines could be very JT. Actually, it was funny because it cut out just briefly and I couldn't hear. I heard you say 5 catches, and you either said 70 yards or 7 yards, and I think both are correct.
5 for 70 is what he's kind of averaged over the last 4 weeks. And I think you're 100% right. I think Shakir and Wandale, to me, they're like almost the same player. It's not usually going to be a high ceiling, but man, they're going to get the underneath routes. They're going to get a couple catches. You're hoping they get one that they break for like 15, 20 yards, and then they get that 50 to 80 yards receiving. So I agree with you.
Dave, how about this one? Debo or Travis Etienne?
Oh, that is close. I think I'm going to go Etienne. With Hunter out, they're going to need a lean on him, and I think he does the job. It's once again another floor question. Debo's just been too hot and cold for me. I like the safety of ETN.
Andy?
Debo looked curiously like the 2024 Debo last week, right? This has been a number of quiet performances, and I mean, the most recent game they played turned on a Debo Samuel mistake. So a little part of me thinks that maybe he's just turned back into a pumpkin. I would definitely go ETN here. I think he's going to be enormously involved. They need him to be hugely involved.
JT, epic fail. PPR, another Debo question. But this time, it was very similar names. Debo, Keenan Allen, or Chase Brown in the flex. Full point PPR, though, if that
I'm actually going Chase Brown. I got to lean Chase Brown here. Like I said, I think it's going to be an offensive performance. If it's close, I'm always leaning running back. That's just me. I think Chase has looked great. And what can I say? I don't know. Got to go with the Illini guy. I like this is a good choice to have compared to a lot of these other picks. We're like, what terrible guy is not going to be so terrible? This is a great choice to have. I'm definitely going Chase Brown first. Keen and Allen to be my second Devo, be my third, but Chase Brown for me all the way here. I
like Keenan on this one. I mean, that being said, though, my obsession with Keenan Allen, if you had Chris McCaffrey and Jonathan Taylor, I'd probably still take Keenan Allen, but I'm joking.
Love the honesty. Gotta stay with my guy.
He's my guy. But his floor is so good. I'm going Keenan on this, and with Chase coming in on second. I mean, Chase showed us what we were kind of expecting where we drafted him last week. So if he can keep it up, fantastic. But this Bengals offense is just so up and down recently. It's hard to really pinpoint him.
To your point, I think Debo's really reminded us in his last few games that the floor for him is always like 3 catches and 12 yards. That's always out there.
And it's crazy. None of it. I can't fathom when I see the build, makeup, and what Deebo Samuel presents on a football field that his involvement can be fantasy production of 1 to 2 points. It just doesn't comprehend. But then again, maybe that's why I am not in a role of trying to do player evaluation other than answering questions like these: Travion or Bam Knight. And this will be the last question too. So of course we have to get this one right. No wrong answer here. Andy, start here with Travion or Bam Knight.
I mean, I'll take Travion here because I think he is a better player, right? I mean, these situations are talked to death at this point. But I don't even think Bam is good. The Cardinals obviously don't think he's good. He wasn't one of their top backs entering the season. It's again, if you're starting him, it's just a pure play about the Cowboys defense and nothing else. So exactly. I'd lean Travion there, and I'll have London a little bit ahead of Pittman, but my God, these are both great options. So I don't feel like you're going to go wrong. Crazy, they were college teammates too.
Yeah,
I did not know that Pittman and London were college.
Yep.
I didn't know.
USC.
Damn. Okay.
What if I told you there was once a holiday bowl
Amon-Ra St. Brown there as well, right?
In which Amon-Ra St. Brown, Michael Pittman, and Drake London were all on the field, and Amir Smith-Marset was actually the most impactful receiver.
Exactly.
Well, and who was was it Slovis was the QB? And somehow looked like the greatest freshman in the history of freshmen. And then everybody's like, oh, he's going to be amazing. And then everybody realized like, oh no, he just had crap loads of NFL talent at wide receiver. And he's not actually any good. He was just tossing it up to like studs all over the place. Because as soon as they all left, he immediately got terrible and he transferred 15 times for the rest of his career.
It's kind of the opposite when you think of the Michael Penix. Well, I guess I shouldn't use that same comparison because now that I think about it, I remember in Washington, it's like, oh, look at all the weapons he had. But then it's actually unfolded and you realize it was only Roma Dunze because Jalen Polk and who was the third one? Irrelevant.
McMillan, I think McMillan's solid. He's just been hurt all year for the Bucks.
Polk is disappointing, man. I had higher hopes for Polk coming into the NFL, but we'll see.
Well, I liked him by far the least of those 3 Washington wide receivers. I was actually a little shocked where he got taken by the Patriots because I was like, when I watched Washington games, I was like, Odunze is clearly the guy. He's a stud. I was like, I liked McMillan a ton, and I was like, Polk only seemed to be good when those guys were hurt, and then when they were back, it seemed like he didn't do a lot. So he was one of those guys I felt like was highly overdrafted.
Right.
And obviously it's easy to say that now as he keeps getting cut and traded or whatever.
But that's why hindsight is in our favor. It's easy to be correct with that. Andy, one last question from a philosophical standpoint going forward for people. Looking at 2 running back situations that have devolved or evolved into more opportunity. In Kansas City and in New York, you have Tyrone Tracy and Kareem Hunt, both inheriting what should be even larger bulk role. Of those 2, do you think either one of them actually takes the role and turns into a viable low end or high end RB2 week in and week out, or is it going to turn into a mess?
I mean, I think Tracy can. I think that, in fact, I think Tyrone Tracy can be 90% of what we were getting from Scatterboo. It's that Scatterboo just had style points, right?
Yeah.
You just loved watching him, gain yards and try to blow people up and hit the self-destruct button and at the end of every run and all that. Like, Scatterboo was just really fun, and Tyrone Tracy is a much more traditional back who on volume can get you numbers. And I'd be a little surprised if they made a significant move at running back. That in Kansas City, it does not seem like Pacheco is going to be out for very long. I do think Kareem Hunt is pretty dusty, and this is just clearly not the peak version of Kareem Hunt. And it wouldn't be any kind of surprise if they made a move for a back. So, in fact, it would be a little bit of it'd be a disappointment, I would think, to you as a Chiefs fan if they don't do anything at running back.
Yes, it would be a disappointment unless they continue to win football games with the running back room they have. And if that's the case, then, winning always cures all ailments, I guess, or scenarios like that. But guys, any last final parting words, any words of wisdom for anybody else? Or we conclude? Nope. That's it.
Well, I got Steelers Colts going today, baby. I'm all fired up. I'm torn. I don't know who to take. I'm just hoping it's a good game. And I need points out of everybody on both teams. So, and hey, let's have a day for TreVeyon Henderson. Let's go. Come on. For all of us, we talked about him the whole show. Let's go, TreVeyon.
That would be fitting is for me to put a parlay of Michael Wilson over yardage, Calvin Austin III over yardage, and TreVeyon over yardage. And TreVeyon is the one that would ruin it for me. So
let me ask you this. If Patriots win today, is the word Patriots and Super Bowl contender in the mix, or are we just is it too early?
No, I think it's right on time. I mean, if they win today, Drake May's playing awesome. There's no, again, not to, state it over and over again, but my God, once they got past Cleveland's defense in the manner that they did, I think all of the Drake May questions are answered. I'd feel better if they upgraded their receiving room in some way. I think this is probably the worst receiving core that Drake May is going to play with for the rest of his career, if they're being responsible. So I think there are some additions they could make, but you'd have to consider them a contender, especially if the Chiefs get past the Bills today and there's a little bit of separation in that division.
Yeah. I would like to see I think the Patriots could definitely be. Yeah, Chris Olave would make a lot of sense to bring in. I don't want to say Jalen Waddle because obviously the asking price for Waddle is a first round pick plus more, and interdivisional, they're not going to make that move. But for any other trade information, TreVeyon Henderson questions, you can find Andy over at Andy Behrens. You all follow him already. You don't need to tell you that. Dave's at Connect Go. JT's at JT Orange. I'm at Nate Marcum. And most importantly, follow at Fantasy and Frames for everything else. So good luck week 9. Best of luck, TreVeyon Henderson.